welcome back to Director Watch, an Awards Watch podcast to get inside the mind of cinema's greatest auteurs, explore what drives them, and maybe we go on a few unrelated tangents along the way. I'm Ryan McQuade, the executive editor here at Awards Watch, and joining me as always is the man behind the bomb, my co-host, Jay Ledbetter.
That's me. I mean, Ryan, Christopher Nolan is a guy who understands establishing tension. He takes Chekhov's gun to the extreme. But with this movie we're talking about today, Oppenheimer, he has established one of the most surprising, weapons of tension I've ever seen, which is Chekhov's Rami Malek. It had never been done before, and we finally did it with Oppenheimer.
Can I tell you this? I know you're making this joke right up at the front about Rami, but he's fucking good in this movie. Like he's because
he was probably born to be a guy who's in 3 scenes, not the lead of the Freddie Mercury movie.
It's great because 2 of those 3 scenes he doesn't say a word, and one of those it's just like, get that clipboard out of here. He just swats it away.
He's got a face, man. I mean, he's got a look to be in movies. It is undeniable.
Got like a Peter Lorre kind of look. You know what I mean?
He's got
he's a little creepy, but he's got something underneath those big eyes.
He's like 15th on the calling sheet in this movie, and
that's even being generous to him.
Comes in hot.
Yeah,
he's probably right behind Josh Peck.
And what is it? Jack Quaid with those bongos.
This is, you know what? I'm gonna get this out of the way at the top.
Oh, okay.
We talk about all these 90s movies that are like, this cast is so deep. But in the moment, that wasn't necessarily the case. It's only years later that
it's like JFK was like
Jack Black in Enemy of the State. He wasn't a big deal at the time, but now you look back at it and it's like, that was so cool that Jack Black was in Enemy of the State. With this one, it's just 30 guys deep of people that we already know about.
Mm-hmm.
It is guys. Sorry to the ladies out there.
There's 3 ladies.
Yeah, but
I had myself muted at the beginning of the pod. It felt right for a Nolan episode.
And we do appreciate that. Yeah,
and
Sophia will die before the end of this episode.
I'm not a wife, though.
Oh, that's true.
You know,
and Sophia did give her child away.
I famously
to a communist sympathizer.
Do say the like, I gotta go down. It's time for martinis.
Exactly, that is the line built for you. And then also just being like, well, I want to go to the film. I got to go to Cannes for 2 weeks. I take care of my child for me, please.
It's gonna be a while.
Between Mad Men and Oppenheimer, I'm in a big era of giving your child away because you don't want them.
Oppie having some real Don Draper vibes. Is that what you're trying to say there, Jay?
No, it's Peggy.
Peggy
giving her child away.
That's also one of those storylines that I'm like, I kind of wish that they would have just given us a little bit more by the end of that series. But I get it.
But we get the best line about that. When Don
when he
visits her, like, she's not going to think about it again.
That's so sad.
Which is good. So you can't think about it again either.
You know what show has good dialogue? Mad Men.
And then and then that it's kind of eerily that scene with her on the phone with him when he's in California having the breakdown in the final episode. And he's like, I stole a man, all this. So she goes, that's not true. Mm-hmm. You know, what have you done that's so bad? Oh,
it's so good.
What a great show. What a great movie. We're here to talk about Oppenheimer. And of course, we couldn't do this alone. We had to get our great guest, our most frequent guest, our favorite guest, the fusion to our fission.
There you go.
Associate editor Sophia Ciminello.
The H bomb.
The H bomb of this podcast.
Of Director Watch.
Yeah.
Wow. You said, someone will build a bigger bomb. That's me.
Mm-hmm. Somebody build the bigger bomb.
Thank you guys for having me. This one's going to be fun, and I'm really excited to do this one in the Nolan series. There were a couple I was debating on, but I think it always had to be this one.
It did. This is the most recent it feels like the most recent film that we've covered in the span of Director Watch, when the movie already.
I mean, One Battle sort of counted.
Well, yeah, but that's because we continued a series. We've already done podcasts on this thing in 2023. We've talked about this movie before, but a great thing about a movie like this is that time uh, can help or hurt depending on how this conversation goes today.
Like winning an
And
Oscar can be the worst thing that happens to a movie.
that was true. But at the time when we did
Historically.
all that stuff,
Yeah.
it hadn't won the Oscars and stuff. We can talk about that. And we can talk about that theory in general.
I got to see how many Oscars I remember this thing winning. We'll see.
Yeah, you have
I
to
watched that Oscars even.
I know that was the one you came back for, right?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about what won Oscars between this movie and the most recent Oscars, and I could not remember what won the year after.
So what you're saying, like between One Battle and
So it's One Battle, Oppenheimer, and then the other one was
it was the one you brag about all the time.
It starts with an A.
Oh,
Starts
it was
with an A.
the Sean Baker one.
Yeah, where he
Which
was
of
like,
course was called
see Sophia, look how he like forgot about it, and he's like, wait a minute, I bragged about that one
I mean,
winning.
this
and
is
everything.
this is real though. I forgot the name of A Complete Unknown last year when I was trying to remember. I was like,
Yeah.
what was
Well,
Timothy
Nixon
nominated
5, though.
for?
I forgot like the fourth or fifth nominee in supporting actress the other day from last year. And I was just like, I can't even
happens.
remember who it was.
It's
So
always
Ryan
talk about for
forgot the
months.
fourth or fifth nominee in supporting actress, and I could barely remember the Best Picture winner. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at.
That's where, well, no, I mean, I used to know,
That's
I
our
used to
brand,
know them
man.
all like really, really well. And I think like over the years, I'm like, I just don't give a shit. I mostly just remember my favorites now because I try to forget the bad ones.
I can
I
still
mean,
do
I
them all in
remember-
reverse chronological order.
Yeah.
I
Like, if
remember
go
much
backwards.
more like the snubs, like who wasn't nominated.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was
I can do picture.
crazy.
Picture I can do easily. Like I got all the way. We were at the house the other day, and Megan's like, "How far back can you go?" And I think I got to like 1956 before
Was
then
she
I started
quizzing
needing
you?
help.
That
Yeah.
sounds fun.
That's funny.
What a
Yeah.
fun thing that y'all did that day.
It was a good 20 minutes. You know what? Spend time with the people you love. Life's short, folks.
I played Yahtzee last night with my wife. That was fun.
I-
love Yahtzee.
Yeah,
I
that was
can't
very
do it.
fun.
I can't.
It's
do
hard
it.
to cheat though, so it's not like
We played
it's
Yahtzee
hard.
and
Wait, what?
4.
Sophia, you're like, oh, it's
Fun time.
it's not one of those games I can cheat with, so I don't
Not
really
one
want
I
to play
can
it a
cheat
lot.
in, so
It's not
hard.
fun for me.
The two games that are ultimate, like the easiest games to cheat in. One, Uno.
Oh,
Mhm.
easily.
And
stack cards
two
on top of
is
each other.
BS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
bullshit.
one's so easy to cheat
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I saw? I saw, speaking of Uno, this is actually very serendipitous. We were at Target the other day, and I saw that they have like a new expansive pack for Uno where it is like Uno Extreme. And instead of
Mhm.
like a +4, it's a +10.
Okay.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
like, and like the reverse, like the switches are like,
So it's like reflective of American politics.
It's
like everybody's
basically
going
like-
further on the fringes.
it's
yeah.
They also had like a Billie Eilish version. I don't know what the hell that is, but
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
that sounds pretty good too. I'm surprised Taylor Swift doesn't have it. She's capitalized on everything else in this
That was
world.
actually half. James Cameron was a big contributor to that.
Yeah,
that set.
when you throw the cards, they like come fly right
Him
at
and
you.
Billie Eilish co-directed that expansion pack.
But no, it was like, oh, so they just made Uno exactly how we all play it, very cutthroat, and because like when you throw the doubles, do you guys play it with doubles down? Like you can throw as many doubles down as you want.
No, I just put.
No.
I put one card down and I put down 7.
What?
Oh, so you do like the whole like you got to get it real tight, and then you like and it's a one.
Well,
But
nobody's
all
paying
your-
that close of attention.
oh, I would pay attention with you because I know that you don't want
I'm
to
a-
cheat,
I'm a
so that you'd be
club.
like, let's wrap this up so I can go do something.
I'm a little
else.
bit of a Harry Truman when it comes to.
Oh.
I'm all sleaze. Yeah.
Yeah, you just okay. I see what you're going with there. Sophia, do you have you gotten in many of fights playing Uno in the past with your family or friends?
I am a very, very competitive card game and board game player.
Mhm.
I don't think that
Catan
will
is the
surprise
problem.
anyone. Euchre is the worst, which is a bit
Mhm.
a Midwest classic. I know.
Phase 10 is
course.
pretty extreme. Or
You
when
do
we've done
euchre
that.
and you get a
Mhm.
what's the chili?
No.
Is it like
Oh, Skyline.
Skyline chili?
Yeah, Josh O'Connor's Passion. Skyline
where-
chili. hmm
That's
It's not bad.
illegal.
It's really good.
It's
yeah.
not bad.
Unfortunately, it is a federal crime. But I'm glad that everybody likes it.
I'm
Does
sure,
every
I mean,
every
it should
state
be.
or every region has a food that is probably a federal crime or something that feels
Oh
unique
yeah.
to them, or like Jay, what's that in Atlanta?
Um,
Magic City
I
and the
mean,
Wings?
well, Magic City, everybody's got to experience Magic City, but I don't know, like Waffle House.
I love Waffle
Yeah,
House.
love a Waffle
Yeah.
House. Like
Hmm.
down here, it's, I mean, what would Texas? I mean, we have a ton. I mean, you probably go Whataburger, you probably go
Um,
Bucky's,
Bucky's.
you know?
Um,
Bucky's is like a
Yeah, but,
landmark.
it
yeah, but it's not
is.
like
The
quality.
Europeans cannot comprehend
I
Bucky's. That
mean,
is what
Man,
I
we have
just
learned
the
with the
videos have been
World Cup
great.
in the US. Yeah. It's been
They're like,
I
amazing.
think every European should set foot in an HEB.
yeah,
The biggest grocery store you'll ever see.
I love my neighborhood HEB, and be honest with you. It's the best. Sophia,
Hmm.
Christopher Nolan. That's what
Yes.
we've been talking about this whole series. So we're bringing you in here for Oppenheimer. I know he's not like your guy.
Right.
I know he's not with that, but I know you have a, a big connection with him because he is a guy for somebody big in your life. And so I know that you've seen a lot of his movies. I know you have affinity for some things, maybe not for others. Talk about your relationship with Nolan.
Yeah, I mean I think Nolan is such an interesting filmmaker to talk about really for people in our age group. Like millennials, I think that are like not to age us, but in their 30s right now.
Young
We
millennials.
yeah, young
Let's be clear.
millennials.
Actually, I think I'm square in the middle.
Okay.
I think all of us are kind of square in the middle of
Yeah.
millennial.
Well, I think
When
when,
was the
you know,
millennial years?
the end of it is 96, I
Oh,
believe. Like that's the
92.
youngest.
I'm plumb in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
81 to 96.
Oh, yeah. We're
Hmm.
I'm
fine.
like right there
Or
in the
yeah,
middle.
yeah.
You're not in the
I'm a
middle. You're
young
towards the end,
I'm a
buddy.
young millennial. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just
congratulations
gonna
to
say
Sophia.
that. Yeah.
It's like when
But
Robert Pattinson was like, "I'm Gen Z." It's like, no, you're not.
it's like
Like,
no,
no,
no.
you're not, sweetheart.
He's right in our age
Yes,
bracket.
he
But
is.
I think, you know, growing up when we did, there was nothing quite like having a Nolan movie come out. Because I just remember, I think when I think back on my time growing up and going to like midnight movies or, you know, going to event movies when I was a teenager, like in high school, they were always, I think, like it was Harry Potter or
Of course.
Nolan. Like
Harry
that's
Potter
just
or
how it
Nolan, were those the ones?
felt. I feel like it was. Like those were big ones. I mean, there were comedies and there were
Was Christopher
Twilight
Nolan
was
that
huge.
big when we were in like
Yeah.
high school? I
Because,
don't
well,
remember
I
quite
mean, The
that.
Dark Knight was huge. That
Dark
Well,
Knight
felt
was
like a
but that was a
new
Batman movie.
but it felt different because
Yeah.
I never
the
really
Dark Knight
cared
was like an
for
event. Like
it
it
was
was
an
like a
event.
movie. It's like we
Well,
talked about this shit. Like its build
I
up
know, but we've
was
established Sophia
immense.
is just one of the fellas. I mean, this is just
Jesus. That's why I'm here today.
That's why she's here. You
That's
know.
why, yeah.
you
How
don't
do
get on
you
an Oppenheimer episode without being one of the boys.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But no,
Well,
I
and
agree with you, Sophia. Like I think that
yeah,
there was
I'm
that
so
Dark
sorry.
Knight was a turning point for our generation, and then
it really
Inception was
was. And then
right at the
Inception was
top
the
of
next
college.
one. That was
Yeah.
so that was right at the beginning of college, end of high school that year for me. And I just remember that was like those were movies that I feel like people wanted to talk about in a different way. So I feel like that was I think those were the kind of movies for better or for worse that people wanted to sit on the floor of their dorm rooms and theorize about and talk about and just love deeply. I feel like Nolan is that director for many people our age. I think they would say that like he's really the one. And I mean, I think you can talk about, you know, if you talk about people like Spielberg or Scorsese, they're much earlier, right? They were still making big movies and movies that people love, but they're earlier. I don't think that Villeneuve, we've talked about, you know, Denis Villeneuve in conversation with Nolan. We did that when we talked about Blade Runner 2049 when I was on for
Hmm.
that series. And I think there is a seriousness that Nolan gets criticized for that I don't see as much in his films. I think that's present in
That Villeneuve is guilty of. Yeah.
Villeneuve's, yes, films. And so I think that Like there is a
You think
seriousness in
Ensembles is an over serious film?
I think that that movie is torturous and overly
I
grim,
hate
and
that movie.
that is on my list of, I have a private letterbox list called Smart Films for Dummies, and that is on there.
I'll
I,
release that one to the public,
I
Sophia.
kind of,
Come
I
on. You've
kind of
got a
feel,
big enough following that that would
I
make
gotta tell
waves.
you, Sophia, you mentioned this a couple weeks ago to me
Smart movies for dummies. I
off
love them.
air, and I don't want to get into the current film, but we were talking about why you didn't like Obsession, which is totally
Hmm.
fine, totally valid. But when you mentioned the idea of like an evil film,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
And the idea of like doesn't mean that the people behind it are evil. It's just that
right.
the film itself
The
feels,
product ended up being,
It
yeah,
is evil.
it's
It's
a little bit
something
like,
that
you
the
know,
creator maybe didn't
like
even
a
intend
net
for it to
negative
be.
to
yeah.
society. Yeah.
Yes.
Unsundies
Yeah.
is that for me.
Mm, interesting.
I think that
Is
movie is
Fight
very
Club an evil
no
film?
that movie
No,
rules.
I don't
No, but
think
I mean
so. I
it's
think you could
good,
make the
but the way
case
that
in the
people have
time.
reacted to it.
I think well that's the Taxi Driver thing as well. Is that an evil
Hmm.
film?
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
No,
you know,
I
I
mean,
don't
The
think
it's
so.
Matrix
complex. I think.
literally brought about the red pill movement, right?
Yeah.
Like
Well, is the Dark Knight evil?
an
That
entirely
you know,
well-intentioned progressive movie that
we,
ended up being adopted by the worst people in the world.
yeah, I mean, like Jay,
I mean,
we didn't
But it's
talk
not an
about this on the
inherently evil movie. It has been adopted by evil people
yeah.
through
so
false
Obsession,
pretenses.
bringing up
I
Obsession
haven't
is
seen
actually
Obsession, so.
interesting in relation to the movie that we will talk about today because
Oh,
of point of view.
oh,
And
okay.
we'll talk about point of
It's a big
view a
movie about point
lot,
of view.
and
Yeah.
point of view determining what you show and what you don't show.
Mm,
And I think that
Hmm.
sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. I think it really depends on the storyteller who has that control over it and who is making that decision. And so I think we can definitely, not to use corporate speak, but circle back on that one.
Yeah, we'll circle
Um,
back on that one. Yeah.
yeah, we'll come back. But
I'm gonna
back
kick
to
it over to
Nolan.
you for that.
Yeah, kick it over to you, Bill. Um, I I think that with Nolan, then I think, as much as he was, a product of our time in so many ways and just so important, I think, to so many people in our age group, with that also came from me resistance because I think he was, I already mentioned the dorm room conversations. He was a boy dorm room director. Like he was a
Absolutely.
man who made like action movies, who made films with absolutely horrible like portrayals of women. And when I say horrible, I don't mean that it's like I don't think that he is ever like exploitative or anything like that towards women
Just
in his movies.
thin.
Just a
He just
limit.
doesn't
Yeah,
care.
it's
He
just
just doesn't
limited.
care about
Yeah,
You
them.
weren't
it's
inspired by the Scarlett Johansson character in The Prestige?
I try to be like her every day of my
you
life.
don't want to be
She's just
Marion
so
Cotillard and
Ryan, did you
Inception.
have a poster in your dorm room? I had two. And
I well, I didn't. I didn't have a poster.
But the Inception poster
Uh,
and specifically the Dark Knight poster, the Why So Serious one with the Joker,
I never had. I
oh,
never
that was a
those
owned
big
that
are
one,
poster.
like
everywhere.
with the spray paint thing on
See,
it.
that
Yes.
wasn't the
Yeah.
Hmm.
Dark Knight
Yeah.
poster that I liked. And
Oh.
maybe this is just
But the
me, but
people who did like it.
I know, but I like the one with like the three of them together where it was like and then their center frame and it's Batman holding the
Hmm.
and then like Harvey Dent with the button and then
Yeah.
there's whatever Joker's involvement in that poster is.
Hmm.
Like they kind of felt like more campaign like that, but it
Yeah.
also was like this trinity of these characters. I
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
that more than I like or I like the one where I guess the traditional movie poster of Batman with the building and the fire behind him more.
Uh-huh.
I thought that other one was like I was honestly low key never thought that was a good poster.
Wow. That was
Well,
brave. That was brave of
Nolan's,
you to say.
You're
I
welcome. I
mean,
didn't want to.
I
It's
don't
been 2 decades. I think I can say that now.
I don't like Nolan's movie posters. And that was
Mm.
further emphasized with the new Odyssey poster. But I think
Oh, the one
so
with the
with
giants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It with Nolan though. So there was this resistance from me. Like he was just not making movies that I think people were being a little dramatic about them. They were, giving them this sense of importance that I didn't always think I don't know. I didn't think that they merited that necessarily because for me they felt very convoluted. It was all about solving a riddle. But then at the same time, I'm a person who loves like big classic movie making
Yeah.
Hmm.
of the
Yeah.
past. And so a lot of his films have won me over. So he's not a filmmaker who like I don't think any of his films are in my another letterbox list I have, my top 100. I don't think any of his films are in my top 100.
It's, I don't think any of
Um
his movies are in my top
Well,
100
they're
either.
definitely in my top 100. Like
yeah,
it's
like
like,
well and like Ryan, I think of Nolan as like one of your guys. Like when I think of like people's directors, like he's definitely one I think of for you. He's definitely not one for me, but I find his persona and his movies really interesting to talk about because for me, I actually think that the way that people react to them is all a part of the story because
Mm.
it's so I don't know how how we talk about the movie industry and the
Nolan
business, you
himself
have
is
to talk about
mythological.
Nolan.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I stated up at the front of this series.
Hmm.
I don't think he's one of my guys. He's not.
See, that's
But
crazy to me.
but hear me out.
Okay.
I've as I've been watching the films in the series,
Hmm.
I have come to realize what he is to me, which he is Nolan the persona
Hmm.
and the champion of cinema, the guy himself, the
He is a cool guy.
that's
He's a
when
wife
I say
guy.
he's one of my guys,
He's a movie guy.
that and for all of us, he
He's a
should
girl
all be
dad.
one of our guys when it comes to something like that. As a person, as a personality, as somebody that wants to champion cinema, use his voice to be the head of the DGA,
He's handsome
to
too.
yeah,
My
exactly.
goodness.
Try to change and save celluloid,
Hmm.
enhance the big screen experience, champion physical media. Like there is no bigger person in the world outside of Scorsese.
He is honestly someone, if you don't even like his movies, you have to really, really respect his
Yeah.
commitment to
And
maintaining
Well,
classical
and
there are
cinema
problems with his films that
sensibilities.
I have. Like I don't think he has a
Yeah.
perfect filmography. It's not like
No, no,
PTA.
no.
He's not like, he's not even somebody like Spike where I will
hmm
go maybe probably selfishly a little bit over the top to defend, or like Marty, which, you
Spike has
know,
made some just garbage.
I know, but still I'm like,
I mean, that's part of what
but when
makes
he's
him
cooking, I'm
interesting,
like,
but yeah.
but I'm very
hmm
forgiving of some of that stuff. Like there's I will say but there are films in his filmography, in Nolan's filmography, that are 1000% in my 100 because not just of what the quality of the film, like you're saying, Sophia, the experience of seeing them,
It's the
moments that
experience.
you remember.
Yeah.
It's like Spielberg
They're
for some
big.
people,
They're big.
like
They're big movies.
Well, and I remember I have like such vivid memories of seeing almost all of his movies. That's something I feel like you don't get with many directors. I think because they're such event movies, and Ryan, you alluded to this, but my dad loves Nolan movies. And so
your
when
sister too.
and my sister too, she does. But she's also, so she's a few years younger, she's a few years younger than me.
Hmm.
So they were even more important, I think, to the
Hmm.
people in her age group, like her class. So she's very end of millennial, almost Gen
What's
Z.
her favorite Nolan?
Oppenheimer.
Is it Oppenheimer?
Yeah.
Before
Yeah.
that, was it Interstellar?
She loves Interstellar. She loves Dunkirk. Memento also. I mean, almost all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, when people in my office who are like 27 or younger find out
Hmm.
that I'm a movie person and they're like, "What's your favorite movie?" And I'm like, "You don't want to hear that. It's like annoying." And I'm like, "What's your favorite movie?" Half of them say Interstellar.
Yeah.
Interstellar
Oh
It is
yeah.
an exceptionally popular movie with
with
Gen
people.
Z young millennials. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it is. And I think that that's I mean, it's fun for me, I think, when directors are a little bit more versatile. And I think about when I like look to the past, right? It's like filmmakers like David Lean or William Wyler, who are two of my favorites, who've made these like so many different kinds of films. Like, yes, you have the Lawrence of Arabia's, but then you also have Summertime and you have Brief Encounter and you have all of these different things
Right,
that are
which
a
Nolan
part of
refuses to do.
which he
And
won't do, and I
I
don't think he should
understand
do.
it.
I actually
Yeah,
don't think that's
I agree.
his thing. But I think for me to like truly connect with someone, you do like a director, you do
I
just
would
have to
love a
have, I
Christopher Nolan
think,
brief
a
encounter. That'd be
less
amazing.
like a less hetero male perspective. But I don't know,
That's
I do
interesting. But
like
your
him for
favorite
what he
director
is.
is Paul Thomas Anderson, who hasn't
But look at
exactly
Phantom
had
Thread,
Phantom Thread and One Battle too. Yeah.
Licorice Pizza.
He came to that. That was much
Hmm.
later in his career though.
Yeah. But still
Well,
versatile.
he's
You
had
still have
the
the prickly.
he's been a prodigy from the moment he started.
Well, his
Hmm.
You know what I
movies are
mean?
also a lot more complicated
Yeah.
Yeah.
thematically
I
than
think I like
Christopher
a
Nolan
meaner
films.
movie, but I think why this one will be good to talk about is I think it is the most it has he does also something that I love that my classic Hollywood and that British generation of filmmakers from the 40s and 50s do, which is just, make this like on one end it is this like handsomely made, perfectly made thing, but I think it also just has so many ideas, and you can tell that this is something that's like that he's been working towards. Like it feels to me like this is his opus.
Hmm. For sure. And I remember back in just a couple of years ago, we don't have to go too far back.
Hmm.
Um, we all saw this film. Sophia unfortunately couldn't be on that podcast. I think you were out of town.
Oh my gosh,
And
yes, that's
and
right. Yeah.
so and she also had a different film that year that was number one. It was
Oh
May
yeah.
December at the time. I don't believe that that would still be the same. I think I know what your number one film is
Yeah.
now at
I
23.
think that's probably number two.
Yeah. But
I had
so
Oppie now and mine has changed.
yours has changed.
Yeah.
We'll see by the end of this if mine has changed or not. Um, but so Sophia, we've never podcasted about Oppenheimer like as a review, as a
Yeah.
breakdown of the film.
Hmm.
We've talked about it
A
for
lot.
a lot for award season and all that other stuff, but we haven't actually
Hmm.
talked about the film.
Did this win Oscars?
We'll talk about it.
We'll get to it later.
We'll
We'll
get
get to
to it
it
later.
later. Okay.
And everything, but I know that you saw this movie like everybody on the staff, minus Jay, because Jay's a dad, and saw this like multiple times in the theaters.
I saw this multiple times in the theaters. Thank you very much.
Did you see it as many times as Sophia and myself?
No, because y'all see like your favorite movie, your whatever favorite movie came out in theaters in a year, y'all see it somewhere between 6 and 14 times
That's
in a
My
correct.
issue
year.
is I can't say no to people when they invite me to the movies because I'm like, oh, that sounds so fun. I do want to see it again.
And
Or
you
like I
kind of want
want
to
to
see
see it
it
with
through
another audience
and you want to
or
see it through their
with a friend.
perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
saw it twice.
There you go. Both in
Once in
IMAX?
70 millimeter,
There you
not
go.
I'm once in 70 millimeter, not IMAX, and once in IMAX digital.
Okay.
Hmm.
That was my experience.
Sophia, you've seen this in the best quality of IMAX,
Every
which is
format.
Oh yeah.
in Lincoln Square in the 70
I've
millimeter
seen
IMAX.
it in the two best ways you can see it, which are at the AMC Lincoln Square
Hmm.
IMAX and 70 millimeter IMAX, and in my parents' home
Hmm.
on
On your
the
father's
sound
soundbar.
bar. Yeah.
While your dad was standing up with his arms crossed watching the TV, surely.
The way that people watch, I imagine they were watching the NBA finals, is how my dad watches Oppenheimer.
How
For
many 4K copies of Oppenheimer did you get sent for FYC season that year?
uh,
I got 3.
I got three.
Yeah.
I actually have
Is that
I had three copies of it too because
people
I got
gifted it
sent
to
an
you?
FYC. I think Ryan gifted me one. Someone else, no, you gifted me one, and then I gave one to my dad, a
There you
separate
go.
one.
Mm.
So you
Yeah.
got three.
I mean, that
Yeah,
was a one of a kind thing that they did that year. They were just like, "Oh, we're giving you 4K copies of the commercial
Uh-huh.
disc."
yeah. We'll
That
talk
was just
about
Nolan
we'll talk
flexing.
about that
Yeah.
during
All right.
the other
The
segment
4K is a
later.
beautiful transfer, though.
It is a marvelous
Nolan's
transfer.
4Ks are
They
like
are exquisite.
unmatched among
Yeah.
modern releases.
The Dunkirk one
His are incredible. The
is his.
Tenet, dude, I turned this up on my sound system too. I've got like a quasi Dolby system set up, and
Yeah.
I think my neighbors were like,
They
dude, your
were
house is about to collapse in on itself. What is happening
when
over
it's like
there?
reverberating through the
Yeah.
atoms and stuff. Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
I mean, this
there's
is a loud
this is a
movie.
loud
Even in quiet
motherfucker. Yeah,
moments, this is a loud movie,
it
which I
is.
think is a
Hmm.
big part of its power.
Yeah, which rules. Sophia,
Yeah.
you saw it, like I said, about six, eight, ten
Yeah, I
times.
saw it a
Yeah, okay,
lot.
a lot. But you hadn't seen it at home, is
Yeah,
the point
I
I'm
know.
trying to make here. You hadn't seen it yet at, as Kenneth Branagh would say in Dunkirk, home. So,
Yeah.
Sophia, with that in mind,
And as he would say in Tenet, "Ja, da- I haven't said that at home," or whatever he would do. I don't know.
Oh my God.
were you trying to
I
do
need
Kenneth
someone to
Branagh
clip
in the
that.
accent backwards?
And then as he would do in Kenneth Branagh in Oppenheimer,
Home.
um, I don't know
You're
German.
you're
No.
trying to do it, but just let me get to the
Uh,
transition, please. Thank you,
this
Sophia.
podcast is so bad.
Your thoughts? 3 years apart from seeing it at theaters, now seeing it at home. Your thoughts on Oppenheimer?
Yeah, I think seeing it away from the hoopla of Oscar season too, because I think that does affect how you view something, whether you want to admit it or not. There's hype around it. Is this deserving of all the accolades people are giving it? I think those things creep in, but also like can a movie of this scope and scale hold up on a different screen? Like I said, seeing it in like on what I think is the greatest IMAX theater we have is unlike anything else. I remember I took my sister to that press screening, and when it ended, we just looked at each other and we're like, "Oh my God." Like is that the defining thing we're gonna see this year? Like it just felt
And it's
different.
just
It
a
felt like,
movie about a guy.
yeah, just a
It's
movie about a
crazy.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a biopic. And seeing it at home, I think it was really nice because it felt to me like I could actually not focus on like before I started watching it. I was like, I'm not going to get swept up in it because the size of it, like how big it feels is going to be gone. And instead I can focus on the dialogue, the story mechanics, how it's aged and how it holds up over time. And I feel like what ended up happening is that the scale and size of the movie still won out, even on a screen that is a
It's
small
crazy. Yeah.
fraction of the size. I think that that's really the movie's power. But also, I think today, like knowing, I think about like the criticism of the film and why people, were, I think, really critical of it. And we'll obviously spend time on that. But for me, what I was really struck by actually is just how well perspective and point of view work in this movie. It feels very literary to me in that way, which I think is very cool and not something I would expect from Nolan. He still has those moments where like a character will show up and give you a lot of exposition, but I think because of how dense the book is, it actually isn't a negative thing here. It works really well because I think it is really dense material.
Hmm.
But I mean, again, years later, I think there are things like I certainly like I don't think they work perfectly, but I'm just really struck by the politics of the movie and not for the reasons that I think people are hung up on them, like what Nolan chooses to show and what he doesn't show. Instead, I'm much more interested in like this as a film about power, about the types of people who want it, the people who get it, what they do to get it, how it makes them feel, and what that actually feels like to be in pursuit of it. I feel like when we see so many movies about power, political power, power within relationships, and I don't think we don't always feel that from the character. We see it, but we don't get hit with it. And this time, I think especially in the end, I am one of those like weirdos who thinks that the third hour is the best hour of this movie. I was just really
That
hit
is
by it and it felt
interesting.
very relevant to me today. Like even more relevant now in Trump 2.0 than when I saw it in 23.
It hits differently. It really did on this rewatch. I hadn't watched it about a year and a half. And yeah, you're right, Sophia. There's relevancy is something that we're going to talk about here in a couple minutes. Jay, buddy,
Yeah,
your thoughts on Oppenheimer? I know you like this movie. Do you still like it?
I love this movie, man. I mean, this is the third or fourth time I've seen it. You speak about this kind of being his opus, and I think I kind of, if whether I agree that it is his best movie or not, it feels like the most clear encapsulation of what he's interested in. And the thing I've been harping on throughout the series is just perception. He's so interested in the artificiality of how people can manipulate the way that other people think of them. And what is a more literal encapsulation of that than McCarthyism, right? And that just feels so perfect for him. And also, as opposed to these very hypothetical ideas of interstellar, and I mean, my great contradiction is that I love Tenet, even though that's absolute nonsense. But that's more of a aesthetic filmmaking thing than anything else. But in this film, it's like he's a scientist, so the most literal filmmaker of our generation is allowed to be as literal as he wants to be. And I think that is a perfect match. That's what I think about this movie. And it is just the best technicians in the world working on the movie. It looks incredible. I remember when we were talking to Bilga Abiri about the life and death of Colonel Blimp. And at some point, as we were talking about it towards the end of the conversation, I was just like, and it looks so good. Like, I can't really tell you a more insightful thing than it looks amazing. And Bilga was just like, yeah, it looks so good. This movie looks so good. I mean, Cillian's baby blues are just like electric in this movie. It looks so good. Hoyte van Hoytema is the guy right now. He just is the guy. And especially if you allow him to work with daylight, it's just I mean
Take
it
notes, Greg
looks like
Fraser.
nothing else. I mean it's crazy. And there are other people who like to operate more in darkness, and I get it, and those films can look great as well. But Van Hoytema he just makes daytime and dust, especially. No one makes beige look more interesting than Hoyt van Hoytema. But not just from a saturation color perspective, but also there are, a dozen shots in this movie that I find very memorable in a film that is largely about people talking about bureaucracy and science. There were not obviously the Trinity test is this massive set piece where the co-star of Drake and Josh is kind of the primary observer of the bomb, initiator of the bomb. But it is a film with a roster that is kind of unmatched in this generation. It is the biggest movie of the decade that takes place primarily in office rooms or
Bunkers
classrooms
yeah.
or bunkers or whatever.
They're makeships off by, where the bomb's at and stuff
And
like
it
that.
comes
Yeah.
down to the stuff on the edges. It's the editing, right? Which to me, my favorite director is Terrence Malick. This has Malickian tendencies, which is crazy to say in a movie that made almost $1 billion. But this has the sort of sensory, metaphysical elements that remind me of my favorite filmmaker of all time in a movie that cost a tremendous amount of money and is relatively straightforward from a plot perspective, although it is very intercut. Christopher Nolan has mastered the art of long form montage. And this was edited by Jennifer Lame, who is, in my opinion, anything but lame. She does not live up to her name. But this is a masterpiece. It really is. It is so much of what Christopher Nolan is interested in without feeling forced. It's just kind of like the one for Christopher Nolan. It's amazing. It's a great film.
Yeah, for me, Jay, I agree with everything you said also to go on your Malikian qualities there, buddy. The what is it? The segment of Can You Hear the Music? That montage.
I didn't even talk about the score.
I
Good
mean, you
grief.
didn't even talk about Ludwig yet, which is, I mean, just
This has the people. I would say Lame is the editor right now.
yeah,
Lawrenson is the
composer.
composer right now,
Yeah,
and
Hoyte.
Hoyt van Hoytema is the cinematographer right now.
And Roof
That
de
those three people have the belt,
and
and
Roof
they're
de Jong is
all
a
in.
protege of Jack Fisk.
Yeah,
And a lot of this
ever heard of him?
a lot of this film to me, I know that, Killers of the Flower Moon came out in 23 and you can see Fisk's work
I mean, the
opposite
production
his
design on that is
protege.
pretty incredible.
But really, when watching this film, I thought a lot about her first job ever, which was being his assistant on There Will Be Blood, especially for Little Boston and the creation of Los Alamos. I thought a lot of just about how
I
the
thought
the
about when
look
they're
in the
doing the Trinity
buildings.
test, they have the big thing that looks like an
Yeah,
oil derrick. So
exactly.
that I thought about There Will Be Blood
Exa-
immensely in that scene.
it, I totally agree with you, buddy. So I feel the influence of cinema inside this film. Like Sophia, you mentioned David
Hmm.
Lean. Like I feel the novelistic quality of Lawrence of Arabia, or the grandness of the buildup of the moment of Bridge on the River Kwai inside the Trinity test. That, and yet it is built all around this complex inner personal screenplay about a man who is we're seeing his accounts of what he is retelling aboard after he's had moral scruples about the thing he created that changed the world. And going into this
Right.
movie, and
Thematically, he likes things to talk about.
when he was propping this film up, I remember the taglines out of CinemaCon was Nolan said, "I made a movie about the most
This movie
important
is the
person in the
bomb.
world." No, he was
Is that
like, he
what they
was
said?
basically like, this is the most important person ever in the history of the
This movie's
world.
gonna blow your
Right.
mind.
He's
and he straight up made a film where I was like, sure, Chris, you're making a movie about the most important person in the world. And he lays the case out by kind of also showing that the biopic genre, which is stale and can be uninteresting, especially if you put a little bit of music involved with it these days, that it can be propulsive,
Got
and
a lot of music in it.
that it could be thoughtful, it could be exciting. To Jay's point, and it can be explosive in more ways than one.
This
And
movie
it
is structured like Ocean's 11 meets Memento.
exactly,
That
like
was
it's
the thing that I
insane.
came to
It's
watching this
insane.
movie.
And it just
hmm
moves. It moves at such a pace of it moves at the pace of someone so confident that this
So
vision is going to
confident,
work.
man.
And
He
it's
figured it
not
out.
cocky. It's
It's
just like,
crazy.
let me take everything that I've learned, and especially in these last couple of eras, and also
There's no fear
he's
of
being
like not feeling like he was
after
smart or anything. It's just amazing.
because
See, I think that's
yeah,
true, but what makes it great is I feel like he still is trying to understand this man. I think that's there. I think that there's a feeling that he is still trying to understand him
I agree with
because
that.
Oppenheimer never really understood who he was either. And I think no one knows, like not
How
even
do you
himself, right? As a
comprehend
person.
the person who created
the
in
atomic
I mean,
bomb.
I'll just put it out there, the most important discovery in the history of mankind.
Yeah,
That's what he discovered. And so how do you even start to comprehend
he opened up
that
Pandora's
form
box.
of
Yeah,
dangerous genius?
yeah.
Well, and
It's
so
unfathomable.
those Malick touches you're talking about that I think you can watch this movie if you've seen other Nolan films and you'll see the particles and how it sparkles and those scientific moments and the ripples in the water. You can see that and think, "Oh, that's just Nolan doing what Nolan does." Right? Like he likes to be flashy sometimes and we have these moments
Flashy
of science.
montage.
You think
Yeah.
of Interstellar, but really, what I think is so cool about those moments and rewatches that that's him trying to understand Oppenheimer's actual language, how his brain works, how he thinks. It's like, this is how I understand any little piece of how he feels and how he's moving through the world. And what you feel is that it is this absolutely crushing and anxiety ridden
Mm-hmm.
existence. You get that feeling, and especially because there's such a contrast between how his section of the film feels and how we meet Straws and how straightforward and by the book and black and white everything is
Bureaucratic.
there.
Ugh,
Can I
God,
Yeah.
can
it's
I
horrible.
can I talk about that aspect? Because this go round, not that I didn't see this movie like 8, 9 times in theaters or whatever it was, but this go round, the structure is what really got me, in that this movie is presented through this point of view of that the technicolor sequences, or the color sequences in this film, are from Oppenheimer's first person point of view. And that, like you're saying,
Most
Sophia,
of the time.
no, that's Jay. I'm just reading what
Okay.
Nolan is saying. I'm not theorizing just yet. And then,
Well, it's also the scene where his wife sees him having sex in a
but that's
room,
through
but that is
his
not
brain.
from
Like, that's through
Oppenheimer's.
his like thought
That's
process
through
of like,
her
yeah,
perspective.
yeah,
But yes,
exactly.
yes, I understand.
So this is like literally through their perspectives. And then, of course, the black and white sequences, which Nolan took a lot from the book. He took a lot from the testimony inside of Lewis Strauss by the committee. Those are more concrete statements of fact that he then expanded upon for fictionalization purposes or whatever. I
Have you
think
ever
that
heard of there's a senator named John
F.
Kennedy?
Kennedy. It's just great. It's just a great nod. I don't
Those
care.
things I do think are so silly. Like
They're
I
silly. It's
I
silly.
do
It's like,
laugh.
but it's also like, okay,
Yeah.
you didn't really need to do it, but like
Who was the deciding
JFK's
vote? I'm looking here. A
there.
senator named John
John
Fitzgerald Kennedy.
Kennedy.
Interesting. He's very handsome,
But
man.
when
His
you're
I
in
wonder
the
if that
theater
guy's gonna
and
do
that
anything.
happens, I remember when I saw this like in Ohio with my parents, people in the theater were like, "Oh my God, it's JFK."
He
JFK's
knows
like
what
a
the
comic
people
book
want.
movie.
He knows what the
he's
people want.
Yeah.
he's JFK MacGuffin,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But no, it's that
The Avengers Initiative.
knowing that going into the film and what this film is doing with that perspective, it's sort of, you going along for the ride, and then as the things happen, as the bomb is created, as the events at Los Alamos lead up to its explosion, this time, Sophia, you mentioned the third act, the last hour, which I have to say this real quick as a side tangent. One of my screenings was with Ludwig Göransson, Christopher Nolan, and Cillian Murphy introducing this in Los Angeles, that I saw back in I guess it would be in the January 24, and seeing it with a live orchestra and hearing this music there, and to see the film cut right at when they call for Kitty to bring in the sheets, and the movie stops there, and it's a perfect stop. Like, it's like 2 hours and 16 seconds into the film. It's perfect. And we got like a break. I remember like all these people were there. But this time watching the film, I truly believe, Jay, truly believe that it's so purposeful, because I think that's when, for me, it shifts. That's when the perception shifts in the film, in that third hour, for you to realize that what might be on paper, what might be, from Strauss's point of view, is now turned to his personal bias throughout what he is showing you, and what is factual within side of the proceedings and hearings with Oppenheimer, from those testimonies and what those could mean, and the unfair treatment of there. And it, I think, starts doing the momentum thing, and the perception thing, like you're talking about, Jay, which is by the end, I mean, you're already on his side, even though not all this might be true, but the facts that are being presented to you in the black and white sequences are also completely misconstrued as well because it is all about the power now
Strauss
that
does
has
not
been
come across very
unleashed.
well. Yeah.
Like it's all been unleashed through once that bomb has gone off, you see the unveiling of manipulation and power so that people can then cling to because he was wanting to disband this, give up Los Alamos and everything. And those people that are power hungry, they chomped at the bit, they dove and pushed him out of the way. And I found that to be so relevant and so fascinating inside of this kangaroo court hearing that he's going through, the no due process. Like it mirrored so much of, like Sophia was saying, this now second administration of the Trump, of Trump's reign that is engulfing
Ooh.
our politics. Like this movie came out in during, right before we started having the elections again,
Yeah.
and it was almost like a little too good to be true, of like, like really, like you think that they would do stuff like this again? And I heard some of those complaints, and then now 3 years later, it's like, holy shit, this movie's relevant again because it's always going to be relevant when power is being abused.
So here's what I would say about that. So what is your perception of Strauss in this movie? Like where do you land on him
I think
as a
that
character?
I think that Strauss is literally one is it's how petty people are in politics and in power. I mean, like Jay, our quote unquote president became president. One of the people that said that he ran for president in 2016 was because Obama made jokes at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. He's saying that turned a whole
So you're saying it
vendetta
was
on
because of that
Oppenheimer.
the Oppenheimer joke?
Not
Yeah.
just that, the standing him up and or like for the isotopes and showing that multiple times, but then also the lowly shoe salesman line, like in their first encounter, it's like built in, and then also their disagreements on opening up Pandora's box with the H bomb and
The
battling
lowly
the
shoe
Soviets.
salesman line, I am kind of on Strauss's side on that one.
But is that
That
even
Yeah.
real?
wasn't
But is that
that was a
real?
dig that Strauss corrected in a fairly humble way. But I do also think Strauss
Well,
is
I
the
think that
manifestation of evil in this movie. So
I mean, I think, like I was saying, it's about this movie's about power, and I think it's about a lot of it is about perception, and it's about what
mhm.
people think and how people feel about you. And for me, like Strauss is all about the pursuit of power. He likes the idea of American political power. I get the feeling when I hear him, when I listen to him or watch him, I don't really think he cares about anything. He just like doesn't really seem to have any kind of drive or desire for
Yeah.
anything aside from just becoming powerful. And for him, he has to, because he's this, when we first meet him, that lowly shoe salesman piece, like he is someone who is self-made, right? And there's something important there too. Like Oppenheimer, like when he meets him, he's like, yeah, through my father. My father was self-made. So there's that difference there of how they grew up, right? And that Robert Oppenheimer was born wealthy. Strauss can't say that. So I think he has that chip on his shoulder a bit too. But then also I think he has always had to go through bureaucratic and prescribed channels to try to get power because I think Oppenheimer has the ability to control things that are within his world for the most part. I think, especially at the beginning, because he is a teacher and he's charismatic and they call him a prophet at one point. No one's ever going to call Strauss a prophet. That's not how he can operate. So I think you have these two different ways that these men are able to pursue and gain power and have it. And it looks completely different. And in the scenes where we do see them together and you get the different perspectives on what's happening, they both come across very differently in those scenes.
Mhm. They really do because like there's that scene, the scene for me, like the two scenes where it's like, okay, who are these really? Well, obviously there's the different perspectives of them inside the the Atomic Energy Committee meeting. You know,
Why is Strauss on the board of that, by the way? Like what?
he got a point. I don't know if
He
he's,
has an engineering degree. Like, I
but I
mean,
think he's,
and then he's up for the head of commerce. I mean, it's just that the titles are crazy.
he has literal political connections, it seems like, with inside the, you know, Truman administration, and is maybe their
I
liaison
understand
into
why
it.
he's in the
Yeah.
loop, but it's just like, why is that the
Yeah.
position that, you know?
But he seems to be like the White House's liaison to all this, because that's what he's concerned about, is that if Truman can get ahead, then the president of the United States needs to know is that he's essentially
Yeah.
he's fighting his way inside that inner circle. And that way, of course, is
He,
then, you know,
It's just like the open position. It's the one that
mhm.
somebody can have that we like.
well, it's also
Well,
like
and
the most important thing right now, given the fact that after the bomb goes off, they need oversight of this, because they're trying to figure out if they want to do
Right, right,
the
right.
H bomb
In the
program.
immediate aftermath
Yeah,
of that, yes. But then that it's years later when he's up for the Secretary of Commerce.
yeah, exactly. So
mhm.
you know, it's also then him being a part of that stability long after they've kicked Oppenheimer out. You know what I mean? And then that's, of course, then this coming back to roost, his personal vendettas inside of there, um, you know, that are the things that have turned all of this, basically shown that his work is that of an opportunist rather than someone who, in one of sabotage, just because of Oppie's, to his downfall, his naivete, and of not knowing who he's really dealing with, because he's dealing mostly with scientists and military men, and this is a politician. And then there's that great
He's a
line of,
scientific theorist. Yeah, he has no
he doesn't know how to,
idea
Mhm.
of how politics work. He
no,
doesn't he has no idea of how anything
But
works, basically. He
that's
doesn't
what
know how
makes
marriage works. He doesn't know how,
no.
yeah,
It's
political
theory
parties work.
versus
Yeah.
it's theory versus practice too,
yeah,
because like
That's it's
if
so
you look
beautiful.
at Strauss, like he's the practical part
Yeah.
because he worked
Yeah.
his way up. And I think from the book, what I remember is like he was a Hoover guy initially,
hmm
like he was an assistant, and then he worked his way up, and then he was one of the founders in the AEC during the
yeah,
Cold War. So he's like World War II, Cold War. And he was also military. I think that's the other part of it. It's like he's that service aspect of it where like Oppenheimer, like we said, it's theoretical. Totally different.
He's a nerd.
yeah.
hmm
But
They're
also,
both nerds.
they're both nerds.
But he's a military nerd. He gets the,
But
you can
he's
put
more of
that
like
on
a,
a billboard.
he's kind of like a fan. Oppenheimer's like an athlete
He's not even the fan. He's like the GM.
Well,
He's the
he
guy who controls all of the stuff to the detriment of the
yeah,
actual progress of the science.
yeah. It's like the GM versus the
and
coach.
he understands the
Yeah,
one thing Oppenheimer doesn't know. Like where he is smarter than him. It's those he knows how to play the game that
The game.
in the
Robert is
shadows.
not interested in playing. Yeah.
Yeah, just like Batman. You
No,
know, in the
well, more
shadows.
like Bane. I
Yeah.
was born in the
Yeah,
dark.
I was born with it, Lewis. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, yeah, exactly.
Can I just say we haven't even talked about him yet? Matt Damon is so
Well,
good in this
that's the
movie.
thing, is that he's used to dealing with somebody like Damon, who has very much
He's the
allowed
ultimate
him
like middle
to have
ground
control.
guy. He
Yeah, he's
rules.
allowed him to have control, give him a sense of purpose. He helped build the myth that is Oppenheimer by what he's done
Well, he
at
was
Los
like, yeah.
Alamos. And yet he just walks into this picture about an hour in, and it's just like, Dane DeHaan, take my jacket. Let's fucking talk for a couple minutes,
I
buddy.
love that Damon is willing to take, fifth build on the call sheet. He's just like, if it's a director I like and a movie that I believe in, I will be in the movie. Also, if you give me $25 million to be in some movie about the Chinese Great Wall, I'll do that as well. But in general, he's
The Great Wall of
very
China.
invested in great
The Great Wall. Yeah.
filmmakers. Um, and that's very much the case here.
But also you feel what I love so much about this movie, why I was saying it at the time, I didn't understand why Matt Damon wasn't getting enough love for this, is the relationship that that he has with Oppenheimer inside the film. And
I mean, he only has one line that is showy.
oh,
One line.
this is the most important thing on the
it's a
fucking
lot.
planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a lot. It's leaning into Fraser territory for me a little bit.
It's
Oh,
leaning
interesting.
into Ruffalo spotlight a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, but
But I
Mhm.
think it's funny though. That's the thing
It
about
is
Damon's
funny.
performance. I think his performance is pretty funny.
yeah. Well,
This is
Groves is
actually
a funny
one
guy.
of the funniest Christopher Nolan movies.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
Yeah. There's
And
moments
that's
of
like
don't
there
know
were
if I
times
think it's
in this
funny.
movie where I was like, should a movie about the creation of the most destructive weapon in human history be
Have some
this
humor.
entertaining?
But is it
But
funny? But
yeah,
is
I
it
mean,
funny in the way of like you think there's actual like jokey jokes, or
I
is
think
it
there are some ha-has in this.
or do you
Yeah.
think there's a little bit of like when I talk about There Will Be Blood, where there are jokes that because the movie's
That's
working
more
so well for me,
ironic. In this film, I think there's
You
like
know?
legitimate laugh moments where
It's
they're
like
like,
set pieces. You
"Oh,
think?
hey, Teller, am I boring you a little bit?"
A little
That's
bit.
funny. It was funny.
see,
There's
I think
yeah.
it's funny in the sense that I will see something or hear something and laugh in like an eye rolling way. Like, oh my God, really, Nolan? We're doing this.
Oh,
Oh,
so you're like you
Mostly
think
with
it's
Florence
like
Pugh.
bad?
you think it's
Those
cringe?
scenes make me laugh. Unintentional, like cringe. Yeah, at times.
Oh,
Ooh,
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
All right. No, I get what you're saying, Jay. I don't know. I feel like this is totally fine. I think it's just kind of within the characters. I don't really think of it as just like it's all a bunch of dudes talking and shitting on one another. And when he says like, yeah, a little bit, it's because Teller's a cocky asshole, that he's a prima donna, when
He's good in this movie
when
too. Benny Safdie's very good in this movie.
I think the one line you're talking about is the one line that does make me laugh, but it's also like, I don't know if you should say that, is when Matt Damon goes like, he doesn't hate me, he hates America. And like Oppenheimer's like, what are you gonna do with him? I was like, oh, we'll just kill him, we'll just get rid of him. And I'm just messing with you. Like that's one of those one times where it's just like the way Damon delivers it, it's to show that he's not this terrible guy, is that he's trying to show that like, hey, the compartmentalization thing is kind of a big deal because if you just listen to me down the road, it's going to have consequences, because built within that is also then some of the most, I think, tense acting and terrifying performances from people I've ever seen. Dane DeHaan is an absolute asshole in this movie. So is Downey.
Dude, the Casey Affleck scene is
The Casey Affleck scene
unbelievable.
is as scary of a scene as I've
Can I
ever
just say
seen.
something?
Yeah.
Can I just say something that will not
Needs to be
sound
said.
good?
Not sound good.
I
Yeah.
think Casey Affleck is like one of the best actors alive. And it sucks that he's like a bad person. He's such a good actor.
Well,
And
I mean,
he's
like,
so
yeah.
good in this movie.
He is. You can just feel
He's really good in this movie.
Oppenheimer. You can feel like Cillian's like skin getting crawled under by just them sitting in chairs and looking at him and asking questions
Well,
and
his
getting
ability to
Oppie
like
Coppin
talk
alive.
him into giving answers, and then later he's like, "Man, I don't know. Like, I felt like I had to give an answer. I don't
and
know, man."
like literally how like
Well,
caved
and
in Oppie is when he's talking to Groves. You know what I mean? About like, I gave him a cock and bull story. I don't know what I was supposed to do. Like this man could like literally kill me right now. It feels like. And Affleck's so great there. Sorry, Sophia.
Mhm. No, well, the thing about Casey Affleck and the scene when we meet Pash is that it's also Nolan's camera because we don't see his face right away.
Mhm.
You see him
Oh,
from
yeah.
behind first, and that
Oh.
actually makes it a lot scarier. Like that actually ratchets up the tension in that scene. It's like, who is this guy that he's going to talk to who's going to be so consequential for everything coming up for him?
Then I mean, the biggest asshole in this movie of obviously is Jason Clarke. I mean,
No,
just
no,
what?
it's Harry Truman.
Well, yeah, Truman too. Like everybody in politics,
Gary Oldman just
are on
coming
that
in
side.
with an alley-oop, freaking
slammed
just
with the little.
posterizing dunk of the
Nobody
century.
gives a shit who dropped the bomb. who made the bomb. They care who dropped it.
Mhm.
He's so good in this movie for like
Just
two
all these
scenes.
guys, all these bit players from other movies that Christopher Nolan is just bringing back.
Get that
It's
crybaby out of
incredible.
here. It's so
He
good.
he's better as Truman than
Churchill.
as Winston Churchill.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Like he is.
I like that movie. I'm sorry. I like
that's
that
a lot
movie.
of jowl acting.
Really?
That's a
Yeah,
lot of
I
like,
like that movie.
jowl.
I'm kind of a
It's a
Joe
lot.
Wright sucker.
Oh yeah, you're a
Uh,
big right guy. Like
yeah,
that's one of your
I'm
defenders.
if
Yeah.
like and right is
I am.
wrong, then don't then
I like a lot of Joe Wright's movies too. But this scene is Truman. He is so scary and so just like he's mean, the crybaby. Get that crybaby out of here. Oh,
I mean, the idea of like again, once like Poppy's starting to have the moral scruples, he's starting to have this feeling of like
Well, it's already
I-
been shunned.
we
Yeah,
create-
but
we
he
create
already
sort of
feels horrible about
he
it.
already
which we
feels like
see in
shit.
The great, like one of, I think, the most interesting scenes Christopher Nolan has ever directed is when they're in the gymnasium and all of a
scene.
sudden there's this pseudo nuclear blast in the gym, and he sees the implications of what he has wrought upon the world. With these people who are celebrating him. And that brings us to the inevitable conversation.
which
we
I was just going to
have.
bring up, which
They
is,
don't
I was
show
gonna
the
say, do you wanna
bomb,
have it
which
now?
a lot of people were very upset about.
but also
Mhm.
he shows everything you need to know in that gymnasium scene. And what drives me
The
nuts
thing
is
is,
like,
I know what the bomb sequence looks like. You
Like,
don't have to show it to
here's
me.
the thing. I was watching this with my wife, and she said she didn't want to watch it. And then the power of this movie, once again, it's one of those, it'll suck you right in. If you just watch 5 minutes of this thing, you're done. Like that's the brilliance of this movie as well, too. Is she picked it up an hour in and she was just like, this movie's like, it's like a tractor beam. It's one of those tractor beams.
Guess I'm here for 2 more
It feels like
hours.
The
Yes.
Fugitive.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
I'm not.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm not leaving my couch whatsoever. It's like A Few Good Men. It's like JFK. It's like these movies that just kind of like feel like appointment viewing.
Oh, interesting.
And-
So I'm stuck to my couch for the next 2.5 hours?
Exactly.
Cool.
But like the thing about the complaint, which is such a lazy complaint, is that one, that's not who Christopher Nolan is as a director. He's never been about showing brutality like that. He is, to your point, Jay,
Honestly,
literal.
I would say that is who he is as a director. He's an
I don't-
exceptionally literal director.
He's literal, but not in the sense of I'm going to show you this
because that's
type
not
of
crowd
violence.
pleasing. He also has a real sense of
He
what
also is just
people
like
want to see.
he's also British and has a bit of like restraint inside
British?
of him too. You
Yes,
know,
all
where it's
The
like
stiff
directors have
upper
a
lip
sense
the
of
thing.
stiff
restraint.
upper
Yeah.
lip thing where it's like, but my wife made a great point. Like people's clothing were burned to their bodies. You really want to watch that? You really think that that's going to get people in a theater in the
Well,
summer
yeah,
to
that
watch?
movie doesn't make $1 billion if they have the
Yeah. Like
yeah.
this movie's R-rated, and
There's an in-between.
it's you know it
And
kind
I don't
of
think it's worth showing. I don't think it's an
no, it's
effective
not.
piece of storytelling if they show
That gymnasium
all
of
you
showing
need the
flash of
more
people-
effective
Yeah.
piece of that scene is when they're like, oh well, me and my wife vacation in Kyoto, so don't bomb that site.
But that's not
And
even
it's like
that.
that's
It's-
more effective than me seeing
But-
them all get bombed.
but
I'm like,
Jay,
that is
the
some
two
evil
scenes
stuff.
of the gymnasium like you're talking about, where there's the flash, Nolan using his child as the melted person, the corpse that's there on the ground, the vomiting and the terror of people as he's walking out. But then
Oh,
also
when they throw up afterwards, that's
But-
amazing.
but
stuff.
when they're showing his reaction to seeing the footage of the damage of what the bomb does, that's enough within itself. It doesn't, you don't need more, because this movie has presented a whole setup of this is through his perspective. It is not through a larger historical drama.
Well, that's right.
Perspective.
It's a point of view thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a point of view thing
And
entirely.
you might
Exactly.
want to call that like an out or an excuse, but it's not. It's part of the whole experience. And so if you want to make that movie,
That would be completely out of character for this movie. We do not
Yeah.
see a single scene except for when Oppenheimer is out of America, outside of America in this movie, right?
I mean, it's the Dunkirk thing. I didn't show you the villain there. I'm not going to show you that here. but you know that it exists and you know what happened and you know the fear that is invoked with it.
I think that it's also just it's such a double-edged sword. It's really like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation for him of what to show. And I feel like there was a thing that happened with this movie that a lot of people treated this like an ideological purity test when it came out. And I think
We
that
live in hell,
sometimes,
pop culture. Yeah.
yeah,
Is
but
that
I think that
we're
what ends up happening sometimes, and I notice it,
literacy?
and it's with a particular type of critic, and I will say it is usually a straight white man with dominant identities who wants to prove himself will think or say, and this happened a lot with Obsession too, I'll say, that
And let me just say,
showing
solidarity to my
violence
fellas out
equates
there.
to you had to, you know. But I think there's this idea that showing violence equals being radical. And what I think that does sometimes is it actually completely disregards the population who is subject to the violence and who the cruelty is directed towards. And I think that that's something that was really overlooked with the criticism in this movie. Why do people feel that we need to see this? What are they actually getting out of that that is deeper than what we're experiencing here? And again, like when I'm calling it the double-edged sword situation with not showing it, I think it could be so gross if you're even putting in archival footage or the history from the movie, the actual images and footage, because that to me feels like exploitation. I think containing it to the POV is the right call. I think, you know, I hear people out and I understand like the idea that it can feel like a cop out or it can feel limiting, but I think that rally sequence, what that does, and what is so sad about that scene is that you're experiencing it just like the rest of the movie, completely through his point of view. And the woman with her skin burning off that we see, that's Nolan's daughter. So we're seeing this a destruction of a person that the and
Girl bad.
a wiping away and a sort of violence in a person that he is imagining, someone that he, the filmmaker, also it's a direct POV from Oppenheimer in that moment. He didn't see what happened there. He only has his imagination. And I think why that also works, sorry, I'm going very long-winded on this, but why it works so well is that all the way up to the Trinity test, it is so propulsive. It feels like this, you know, we're assembling a team. We have to get this done. It's a race against the clock. We have to beat like the worst people in the world to this, right? Like we have to beat the Germans. It's this part of the war. It's getting caught up in the war. And the feeling that I get when you see after the Trinity test, and I think like the horror and wonder of that sequence when they're taking those bombs away from him and
Hmm.
you know they're not in his control anymore, my stomach drops. Like
Yeah.
I know what happens. I know this is history, but like knowing that like he knows he's created something that's no longer in his control, but you get this feeling that like yeah, it doesn't matter. Like he's not the one making this decision anymore. It's out of his hands. And I think it's important then that we don't see the action of that directly because he has to live with what that idea would be.
Hmm.
I
Well, there
think,
is
yeah.
this idea of like the I am become death reading in Sanskrit while he has sex with Florence
Hmm.
Pugh, which we haven't really talked about the female characters yet. But
We will in a
the
minute.
We can
there
get there.
We'll get there.
there
We're
is
gonna
that
get
scene
there.
where, but I'm speaking specifically to the interpretation of that line, right?
Hmm.
And there's this idea. There's two ways to take that reading. One is I have accidentally become the harbinger of the most lethal weapon in human history. And the other idea
Hmm.
is it is basically my destiny. Like this was what I was supposed to do. My brilliance has inevitably become this weapon of mass destruction. And there is an undeniable brilliance to Robert Oppenheimer, who
Hmm.
created through his genius an incredibly dangerous thing, which is something that he comes to realize because over the course of the film, there is this like, oh my gosh, they solved it. They figured out how to kill hundreds of thousands of people at a time.
Hmm.
Wow, what a
Hmm.
thing they figured out how to do. And that's something that this movie does so incredibly well. I think about that idea where it's like, wow, I'm so glad that they figured out how to make a nuclear weapon because it is very much a process movie in that way. And the other thing that I was so astounded by watching it again is when they're doing the Trinity test and they're talking and they're like, wait, you're saying there's a chance that the atmosphere explodes? And I'm like, oh my God, the atmosphere
Chances are
might
near
this
zero.
this might actually happen. No, this was a
I
thing
know,
that
I'm like,
already
oh, it might
happened, but the
happen.
tension is
Yeah.
entirely there. It's so impressive, and that's all filmmaking, and that's all that whole team together, which is another one of those things where Nolan is so much about making movies that are kind of about movies, and that specific moment to me is like this culmination of all of these people working together to make a moment that is inherently not tense because it is history, extraordinarily tense on screen. It's so impressive.
What I think that's so great about all of that and what you're mentioning there, and why, to me, this movie, and why he in the third act is continuing to take punches and punches, and we hear Kitty go, "Why won't you fight? Why won't you stand up for yourself?" It's because he believes that he deserves this bludgeoning. He deserves to be chastised and ridiculed and questioned and belittled, and every decision that he made should be questioned because he's processed that he should have thought and done that himself. There's one of my favorite moments in the film. It is truly one of my like, and I've got a dozen, but it hits me every time. Is the moment when it's led by maybe my favorite shot of the film, which is Cillian Murphy on a horse, and you see the dusk of the day in the rain,
That is
which
a question.
is
Your favorite shot of the movie is a good question.
is like that scene is like,
Yeah.
I was like, my God, this is just beautiful. Can these guys all make a quasi western down the road? Anyway, it is the scene that leads into their all the scientists are in the room, and they're talking about how Germany is surrendering because Hitler is about it has died. He's been killed. And Oppie's justification to continue as the Japanese are marching on, and basically saying, like, we're scientists, we create things, but they're not gonna but his whole thing was, we're gonna use this, they're gonna see what they've created, and they're gonna realize that they have to put this back in the box, and they can't do this ever again, as we would hope so, as
Well,
optimists
the whole
would
thing he's doing is
want.
convincing himself it won't just be the end of this war; it will be the end
The
of
end of
war
every war, and there will be peace
altogether.
forever, and
Yeah.
that's what you could hope. But as Sophia said earlier, power lies in the shadow, ambition lies within evil tendencies, and those who seek opportunity can pounce upon those that are not as powerful. And when you're playing different games, like, that's a different game he's talking about when he's talking to those scientists, because it's not going to happen with physicists in the room. It's going to talk with men who are in suits and in military uniforms that he has never been able to figure out how to do. And the moment that he's going to lose is in the moment when they are picking out the fucking places to drop these bombs. And Groves shuts him down. This has been his friend, his ally, this person that has built this $2 billion project together. And he has basically said, well, we've had people on this that have not been sympathetic to the cause, and they should be fucking eliminated from this. Don't you agree, Dr. Oppenheimer? And followed by that moment that sinks to your stomach, Sophia, of those men saying, we'll take it from here, Dr. Oppenheimer, meaning, fuck you, is is him going, "Can I go to Washington with you?" And Gross
Mhm.
going, "Why would you want to do that?"
But this idea that I mentioned of, him being a prophet, and there's this line of a prophet needs to be right, and how
That
he's
Isabel
going into
Robbie
the
says, "Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's going into the speech at Los Alamos, and the quote is the kind of peace the world has never seen. Like the idea that this bomb is supposed to create peace is such a strange idea because we know what it's going to lead to, but they
and it's a
thought it would
lie."
just end all. And there's another part when a character, I can't remember who it is, but a character calls it the bomb, and Oppie corrects them and says gadget. There are certain like telling little lines like that I think show that back and forth of what is it that we are making? What is this going to ultimately become? And Izzy, like you said, when he says he doesn't want 3 decades worth of physics to turn into a weapon of mass destruction,
Yeah.
right? Like there's this idea too of what is all of their work amounting
But
to?
he
And
also
that's what
he knew that was the
On
inevitable
falling,
end
Mhm.
of
killing the
his.
Oh yeah.
unjust. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he talks
Yeah.
about that, he's like, "I'm not going to join you on this, Robert."
Hmm.
Niels Bohr is like, "I'm not going to join you on this either." Like, you think
Hmm.
you're collecting all your Avengers for this project? That's not happening here,
Brana out
buddy.
here
Right.
just like
No.
throwing some integrity into the cast, man. That
you know,
dude,
but
he's in so much garbage, but every time he shows up in something good, I'm like,
when he's given the
absolutely,
tools.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Bring him
He's
in.
leaning into his Shakespearean thing a
Yeah,
little bit. The high
exactly.
drama of some Nolan
Gotta
movies.
tell you, Brana was aces in Devil Wears Prada too. I just was like, I
I
thought that
love I even loved him in The Devil Wears Prada
I had
too.
a
I
great
was
time
like,
with
I
him in
want
Devil
a
Wears Prada. I
husband
kind
like
of wish
that.
his character was Kenneth Branagh.
yeah,
I wish she had married Kenneth Branagh.
yeah.
That would have been cool.
That would have been really funny, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I just love that he's just there as like the supportive guy, and it's like, you know what? Sure. Let Miranda have
I
this
mean, he's in
stability in
like
his
three
life.
scenes of that movie as
But
supportive husband.
and he's
Shout
literally
out.
incredible.
Dog
Like,
Yeah.
walker. Yeah.
he's letting
Hmm.
her in, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's bold of her to go upstairs." Even he knows, like, he's fully aware. Like, it's
Hmm.
it's like he's just there as loving, supportive person, and I bet Emma Thompson watched it and where the fuck was this guy? Like,
He is. I do love him. Basically, every time on screen,
Hmm.
I love him. Look, do not cheat on Emma Thompson.
no,
Don't
don't
do
do
it.
it.
Don't do it. Not good.
Don't
No,
make Belfast.
don't make Belfast either.
I'm like okay with Belfast,
I'm
Yeah.
right?
But
not as
here's
an
what I will
Oscar
say,
winner.
my controversial
But I mean,
opinion.
there's
My
one
controversial
reason I'm okay
opinion,
with that.
I
Yeah.
will allow Kenneth Branagh. This is the first time I'm saying this out loud.
Oh,
Oh my
Jay,
I will
gosh, this is
allow
huge.
Kenneth Branagh to have the Belfast Oscar because of the Oscar ceremony we just got.
that's
I
fair.
would take that any day. Like to win for PTA to get the 3 for one
What
battle
does that mean?
It means that she
because he
would
lost
take.
for Licorice Pizza.
It's kind of like
Oh,
losing a championship to then win three
Oh
down the
God.
road. Kind of like that.
okay.
Yeah, it's like
So, all
LeBron
right.
I
So,
just
losing.
imagine
where does
PTA standing next to Wemby.
where does Coda sit in that
Oh
hierarchy
man,
of things that will get
she's
better
got a new
later?
movie coming
Well,
out.
that was an adapted screenplay, so we're not going to talk about Coda.
Okay. What did Coda beat in picture?
Power of the Dog.
It be The
Well, that's
Power of the
better.
Dog, Drive My Car,
West Side Story, Jay.
Licorice Pizza, West Side Story.
King Richard,
This
Dune Part
is
1.
what a thing they did.
I think
What a
they-
thing they
Yeah.
did. Good for them.
Remember when
She
they
has a
all
new movie
did the
coming out, and
they
We
I
were
all
all
did
in a
really
weird
hope
we were all in a
all
weird
get
place at that point.
Yeah,
I
we-
understand.
together.
we were all like, Joe
Yeah.
Biden's our
They were-
president?
I mean, look, I'll admit that movie gave me a cheap cry. I cried at the end of that movie. I wasn't proud of it, but it made me cry.
You're just like, all right, fine. 3
I was
stars.
afterwards like, I mean,
I'm not happy
that,
with myself.
that wasn't an effective piece of filmmaking, but it did make me cry. So that part was effective. There's no denying.
It is literally
There
the
you
most
go.
Apple TV Plus movie ever made. Like truly, just the way it looks
I think
aesthetically.
The Gorge is the most Apple TV
Oh,
Plus
that's
movie
true.
ever made.
Well, yeah,
I have
that's
never seen The Gorge.
what's the one with Anna de Armas and Chris and
Oh,
Chris
that
Evans?
actually might be the
Oh,
most Apple
the
TV Plus movie
is
of all time.
the gray man?
No,
Oh,
that's a Netflix
that's the
one.
Netflix one from the Russos. What's that one called,
I'm
Jay?
gonna find it. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you got to
find
find.
it.
Also, too, what's the
I'm
Argyle is
tempted.
another one of those Apple movies where that's the total Apple movie plus.
Look,
Hmm.
I will give half a defense to Argyle,
You should
but
not.
that movie that you're talking about is called Ghosted.
Ghosted.
No.
That's what it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ghosted.
I kind of thought Chris Evans was gonna become an interesting actor, and he really let us down there.
Well, we'll have a conversation. I think somewhat similar to Evans later when we talk about Downey. But
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Downey yet.
well, I mean, we kind of did with Strauss, but I mean,
Downey's great in this movie, I think.
We
Downey.
should talk about the women since we started that.
Yeah, Jay. I think we should talk
All right,
about.
let's talk about the women.
We should talk about the women.
10 out of 10, no problem.
No notes. They're really great in this. Florence Pugh in that.
So I mean I feel that Florence Pugh is in a completely thankless role. This is
Mm.
just embarrassing. I think it really is. When I was watching it back, I just
think
thought
she makes the most
it
out
is
of it, though.
rough.
I
She
think she's
she
good.
does, but it is just so one note. And I think we can go back to like, yes, a lot of it is from his perspective. So if you're thinking of like how he views these women in his life, I think that, for him, she was a, a mistress that he met. She was just someone on the side. He had multiple affairs. One he just mentions in passing that we never see. So I think that, a good part of it is from that. This is how he views her, right? But also like it is such a limited and limiting role for her as an actress.
Yeah, a great
And
actress, I think.
I do think that, yeah, I think so too. And I think that I am fascinated by the way that like what his sex scenes look like. Not what I necessarily would have expected from Nolan, I'll say.
How many children does Nolan have? Like 2 or 3?
3, I believe.
I think
3?
that Christopher Nolan has had sex 3 times in his life.
I know that Sophia knows this. Eric knows this. Jay knows this. The number one person that knows this is former guest Christina Yerling Biro, who has debated me about the female characters extensively because how much I love this film. I truly 1000% think that this is one. I actually like some of the scenes with Emily Blunt and also some of the stuff with Florence Pugh, but I do think that their limited time on screen is because of the same thing we talked about
I mean, it's a perspective.
with not showing the bombing. It's part of the whole package. And
That
this
would
movie
be an
is not
okay if it wasn't consistent throughout Christopher Nolan's career.
that is a fair point.
It's a thing with
I
him,
think
which
so
is
too.
you
I
have
think
to
so
you have to
Yeah.
accept.
Those films feel where like I watch Inception and I have a just massive issue with how Maul is written as a character, how some
I
of
mean, garbage.
I have you mentioned Scarlett
At least
Johansson.
Emily Blunt gets a monologue.
That's fair. I mean, like I think though Rebecca Hall in that film, while she does die, like there's a lot of interesting things inside Prestige. It varies from film to film for sure. I mean, like Dunkirk, there's literally no women at all. So like, like
Thank
there's
God.
and that, honestly, that says a lot about, in that movie. Unless you're
It's
just
like
talking about the
maybe my
nurses and
favorite
stuff there.
Christopher Nolan movie.
But
I
anyway,
don't know. We'll see.
the point is that if you're calling him a womanizer, if you're calling and like the way
It
he
is funny when they're like when Matt Damon comes in and he's like, "You're a womanizer, a philanderer." I'm like,
yeah.
I have not seen any of that.
But he also, you see it when he's talking about his brother's soon to be wife, how he just doesn't value them.
And he even forgets that woman's name. He just met her and he
Just Jackie, you know.
just Jackie. It's so funny.
Look, that's
But like
very
that is
1940s.
But he does
Oh, yeah.
remember her name out there in the tents where
Mm-hmm.
he's like Jackie when he's like
Yep.
super like pissed
Mm-hmm.
that he's gonna marry her. Like it's
Yep.
so great.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
like, but he meets his wife through the fact that she's already married. He's having sex with one of like the like uh, I guess like the provosts or like the deans of the college. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's
And she's
having
like, "Can you explain quantum physics to me?" Yeah, there's space between particles, and that's what exists. She's like,
so
"Oh my
let's just have
god."
sex. But then like she gets pregnant and you know he's like, no, I don't actually see that this is the end of our relationship, Gene. I think that this is just going to mean that we're going to have casual sex on the side. Like when you break it down, he's a fucking asshole. Like like he is, but he's a
He is.
genius. And that's the thing about the whole thing is like people like when he's talking with Gene, which is a great scene where it's like you're doing this all within your own sphere with people. And he goes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but if you're smart and you know what the fuck you're
Oh,
talking about
man.
around here, it doesn't matter. Like you can do whatever
There's
you
a
want.
lot of devil's advocate I can play with this movie where it's like it is the, amazing man character, but he
But he's
is
flawed.
Yeah.
he's presented as pretty pristine despite having huge flaws.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say when he abandons their child, I mean that's bad.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
terrible.
I would say
They're
not
selfish
good.
people.
But at the end of the day, I mean, when I do think about this idea of them being in the desert for 3-ish years trying to win the war, it is I keep thinking about how important that event is, and just this is literally, I mean, I'm not kidding. It's like this and the discovery of fire. Like those are the two most important things that have ever happened in the world. And this idea that he is supposed to be a normal, loving husband and father, I'm like, obviously that was impossible. He is creating the most dangerous thing that has ever existed.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I try and like rationalize that in my brain, I do forgive his indiscretions. And I'm like, and not that every character has to be, a saint or anything, but I'm like, man, I don't know what else this guy who has a point of view that has been established through these visions that we have seen. He does not see the world the way that everyone else sees it. And he does not have a perspective that anyone else can grapple with because he is sitting out in the desert trying to create a weapon that will kill hundreds of thousands of people. And it will be an incredible scientific discovery, but it will also be the most potent evil that has ever existed in the world. And it comes back to that idea of, well, Nobel created TNT. And it's like that was a great invention, but also it was bad.
It was the
It's
start of
Mm-hmm.
all this in a lot
it
of ways.
is
Yeah.
Yeah.
the I mean, everything that you think about, every scientific discovery is used for evil.
Yeah.
AI is going to be
Mm-hmm.
used for like robots that are going to kill
us
people
all.
in the street. Yeah.
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 It is so interesting that scientific progress is invariably worse for people.
It's because science is man-made. It's it's
But
our
it's but from his perspective,
it's our
he's
creations.
doing something incredible.
Yeah, but
I mean,
even still,
it is undeniably
but like
genius what he's doing.
there's a great like
But anytime somebody gets a leg up on anything, it will be manipulated to make the most to gain the most power possible, which
exactly.
means
Especially when the government or military is
Mhm.
Right.
involved. I mean,
Involved.
even if you think about like medical discoveries that are like so good
oh,
and have
pharmaceuticals. Oh
advanced
my
us,
God.
right, in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
But then you think about, yeah, big pharma, like, oh my
Drug
God, right?
companies, yeah,
Drug
it's just-
companies,
And then it's
like
like
everything
they'll block out any
evolves when
advancement
businesses take
further
over.
than their current
Yeah.
drug until the
until the profits are made, and then
till
they'll,
the trademark
Mm-hmm.
or whatever runs out, and then they'll bring in the other one so that they can reset the timeline. It's
there's
good
Yeah.
great. Oh my God.
to me there's this great moment in the film that I kind of Jason Clarke asks him the question, when did you start having these, moral questions about the bomb? And I mentioned that there was obviously the decision with the Kyoto thing, which is that's one of those horrific moments that you were mentioning, Jay, where it's just like, wow, it's just a bunch of guys in a room just sitting here crossing off
It's kind of the
names,
defining moment of the film for me.
about the fact that like how casual it is to kill, millions, is just by, a guy erasing things off the board, or thousands or hundreds of thousands. But for me, when Groves is persisting on finding a date and Oppie keeps pushing it back, and in that moment, it's just like, is he pushing this back because he doesn't think they're ready, or is he pushing this back in hopes that the war will be over and not having to use it? There's a moment when they're putting it together and it's genuinely terrifying, even though, once again, like you both have said, we know the outcome of this. And yet, as that device, that bomb is getting taken up and up and up, and they're putting in the different charges. His hands are on his mouth, and he's just he's overseeing it, and it's terrifying. But then there's that moment where he climbs up there on the observatory deck there, and it's just him and the bomb. Truly one of the other great shots of this movie. And it's that moment, it's just like, this is it. This is everything. This is and
I
he
might
is
set the atmosphere on fire. There's a
I might
0.2% chance I'll set the atmosphere on fire.
It's that moment, I think, when it's him with the bomb, is when he realizes the revelation he tells Einstein at the end of the film. And it's also that pause after the blowback from the bomb comes to, in that moment of quiet, when he realizes, fuck, we
there are so many like really dramatic lines that through a certain lens you'd be like, that's a little much, but for me they basically all work.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you might have, there's a chance you've destroyed the world. And he's like, I think I already have. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
you did it. And for some people, it might be like, all right, man, I get it.
But he does a good job building
works.
to that over the,
it works.
because if that scene's all built within like what Strauss has built up as his
it's
vendetta.
so on the nose because it's Christopher Nolan, because that's the only thing he's capable of. But this is a movie about science, which is so literal, even though he's talking about theory, but he's making the theory literal in this film. And so to me, this is the perfect match of director and material.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, on the quotes point, I think that the most dramatic quote of the movie to me is the "I am become death, destroyer of worlds."
I mean, it's a lot. Yeah.
And it's funny though, I mean, not funny, but it's
while
the way
she lays on him naked.
Yeah,
she's like, let me climb on top.
It is an intellectual's dream, yeah. Right? Like it's a funny thing in that way. That's why I said earlier, it's like, okay, it's not for me, haha, funny, but that is one of those like, okay, what are we doing here, Nolan?
That is silly. I would give it
unintentionally
yeah.
funny. It's like
you cannot not think that's silly.
No, it's so silly. And then he uses it again, obviously, with the Trinity test, and I think there
that he named after her.
And I love when he uses it there. And what I found, because I was doing, a little research before this, the better translation of that, so it's actually not this, like, I think we can look at that moment and see that and hear ego or narcissism, vanity. But really what it's talking about is fate, and it's talking about the inevitable.
Right. I agree.
And what he is saying there is like, okay, like this is what was predestined for me.
It's in the visions.
And that is like, that's the sadness of it, I think also. And a better translation of it is I am become time. And what is Nolan obsessed with?
Fuck yeah.
Time.
God damn it, Sophia. Let's go.
That whole story
no, Jay, come on. She got it. She
nailed
it.
I mean, no, from a literal perspective, that is a line that the character says to the character of time, which time is an inevitability. And he's like, well, now my existence is as inevitable of time, which is time is a murderer. And so now I am that as well, despite all of my genius, which is something that could theoretically be used for good, but inevitably things like this get used for death. And
Yeah.
that is the Oppenheimer legacy. And then for me, that ending where he is getting his award, which is basically a hand wave,
The salmon
is
and
an
potato salad line
incredible
is so
ending.
good.
To me, it is devastating.
Yeah.
It is like that scene is kind of my politics. Like that's sort of it for me. That's like, I think no one cares about anything except themselves. And that's such a nihilistic view of the United States of America, but that's sort of where I'm at.
But also when people go and try to say like, oh, no one's trying to have his cake and eat it too with politics, it's like, no, he's pretty consistent. He's pretty consistent, I think, at least in this film, of saying that like the cause of all this, even though it was right and just in his mind, of Oppenheimer creating this bomb to essentially end the war, to free the Jewish people, to save us
No,
from
no,
the Nazis.
I disagree with that. He
You
thought
do-
it was evil from the jump.
you think he thought it was evil from the jump?
I think he almost immediately regretted the use of that bomb. Yeah.
No. I'm talking about the exploration, the creation. Like
No,
Jay,
no, no. Yeah,
he's
entirely.
going
He was.
like in the beginning of all that journey. Whether in hindsight you want to say that yes, he regrets all that, you're absolutely correct. But Jay, in all this, he's like it's when he tells Lawrence, it's not your people they're putting in the camps. He has a sense of purpose and a sense of, I really know how to get this done if we're going to get this done.
One line
You
I
know?
love is like, our only hope is anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
I
So
love
he
that line.
he fully knows the plan and how to execute it, and he gets all the players to literally run the X's and O's like on a blackboard, by the way, of like, you know, to get people to pinpoint it. He literally gets everybody to go to like his vacation spot. Like he has designed this in the way in which he thinks he can win the war, and then he has justified it to all those scientists again on why they have to use it, even though he firmly believes, once again, that by using it, it'll end the war. And then we can talk about peace talks, and we can talk about not opening up the genie in the bottle. The problem is his naivete of being a scientist and thinking that people will just listen to him because he's smart. And it caught up with them in the past, and it caught up with him in these rooms. And
it wasn't even that. I think
no one's
think
just saying that the machine is
undeniably,
always going to win in this moment. And by the end, Einstein's whole speech, which is brilliant, is just sitting there literally saying like, I created all these theories. I created all this work that people call marvelous, that was probably also shot down and called radical and crazy for in its own time period. And years later, you all patted me on the back, gave me a ribbon, gave me salmon and potato salad, and
for the press, for your genius.
just for you. But
we didn't
none
let
of this
you have
was for
any
you.
say in your discovery. Yeah.
But none of it was for me. It was not for the greater good. It was for your own self-satisfaction. Yeah. And that
also,
to me is like, he is not patting anyone on the back in this movie. It is a damnation of this entire idea. Yeah. It's super cynical. And for this to be in a blockbuster of this magnitude is quite it's out. You're not getting this from many people, I think.
Is this the only movie of Nolan's that you would call cynical?
It's the anecdote to I think to Dunkirk. With that movie is very hopeful.
That has cynical elements.
It has cynical elements, but it's very hopeful.
That is a hopeful movie
because of the
Tenet
history.
Has a fun. We get into stuff. I mean, when they say we get into stuff, I'm like,
I mean,
I want to get into stuff too.
I do think The Dark Knight had some hints of cynicism about the machine going up against the Joker and the chaos.
Like, oh, hey, Batman, by the way, you are basically blacklisted from saving people in Gotham.
Well, and the idea of being able to get inside the machine and fix it while it's easily being able to be morally
Insomnia
corrupt.
is a cynical movie.
Memento, I think, is a cynical
Memento
film.
is a cynical movie too.
You know, like he has it inside of him. I think The Prestige has a massive amount of cynicism in it as well, and selfishness. He has it inside of him. That's when he's at his best, is when he is more of a cynic rather than being a hopeful optimist.
I think I generally agree with that.
Well, I think that's some of your problems with something like Interstellar. a movie that I like, but I think that if he was a little bit more cynical in that movie, I think you'd like it
I
rather
mean,
than
I've said Interstellar is the ultimate example of Christopher Nolan's literalism, like wrecking a movie.
yeah
It to me like
for
just
you
totally crashes and
for
burns
you.
for
Um,
me.
um,
But the crazy thing about the nukes in World War II, which to this day are the only nuclear bombs that have ever been dropped, and the nukes today are like 100 times stronger than the ones that we dropped in Japan. Those were not to end the war. Those were to
show a sign of
send a
strength.
message to the Russians. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
because of the whole like
it,
conversation that he has with President, or that we don't see with Truman having with President Petrov at the time, where he's just like,
right.
you know,
You know what this made me do today was look at the number of casualties in World War II.
oh well, Jay, this is a war that you
I
say,
I
but
love
we
it.
don't talk about enough.
We
We
don't
don't
talk
have
about
enough
it
movies
enough.
about it.
We
Yeah,
don't talk about it enough. I mean, it is.
we make a joke about it, but he makes great cases for this all the time. He's
I
deadly
think it
serious
is.
about this.
I think it is arguably the most important event of the last like I will say 500 years just because I can't speak further back than that, but I think it is.
When we're done recording offline, I need to fill you in on my grandfather, who we discovered like years later saved like thousands of people during World War II.
That rocks. I
Sounds like
mean,
a script
that's
we're all writing
absolutely
off.
awesome.
Hmm.
Do you know how
Yeah.
many Russians died in World War II?
Did you put like an accent on the end of that, by the way?
World War.
What?
Hold on. Let me redo it. Do you know how many Russians died in World War II?
There you go. There's the
There
Kenneth
we
Branagh
go.
and 10 and
Mhm.
I know. Um,
Know how many?
how many?
It was like 25 million.
Jesus, it's
Hmm.
crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I
The
think
Russians
so.
were sending people into the meat grinder. So every time people are like, "Oh, we're trying to send a message to Soviet Russia," I'm like, "Man, like I'm not saying there's not merit to communism, but Russian communism in the 1940s ain't it, man. They
Yeah.
were just literally honestly, there's a very easy argument to be made that Russia was more important to the Allied victory in World War II than America.
Well, that's the trouble that
Because
Oppenheimer
they
gets
were
himself
so
into.
willing to just send people to slaughter.
Hmm.
Well, there's that
But
great.
they were not chill in that time. But do you know who had the second most casualties in World War II? This is one of my most not fun facts, but one of the craziest facts to me. Can you name the number two country casualties in World War II?
Oh
No.
wow.
Go ahead.
You're not gonna be able to do it.
France? I don't know.
No, it's China
China. Oh, well, that makes sense.
because Japan was going
They were going.
ham.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
They
Japan.
were
right.
going ham.
We talked about this
That's
on.
crazy.
I think we
Dozu
did
series.
discuss
Yeah.
it. You don't even think of China being involved in World War II.
No, but
Mm-mm.
that's how off the reservation Japan was during that time.
Japan was going crazy.
They were going crazy during that thing. I will say this is that you mentioned that too, and a big part of this film also is Oppie's obviously the communists, the Red Scare inside of all this McCarthyism that's rising at the time. Though what Louis Strauss basically says is like, who gives a shit? I'm bigger than fucking McCarthy at this point. Like that's child's play compared to what I'm going to do to this guy. But the idea of him like also naively thinking that the American government would have literal talks with the Russians and their allies, and also be naive enough to know that these people aren't going to follow you and they're not going to create dossiers. And it's this of the idea of the theory can get you only so far. His theories can only get him so far, meaning his genius can only get him so far. He's so blinded. He talked about Hitler being blinded by his rage. He's so blinded by his ego that he can't see that there is a whole system that is larger than this man's vision for this creation of this weapon, and they are easily set up to squash him like a bug. And I think what what Robbie says to him, where he's like, "I don't think you want to go up against Louis Strauss here. Like, this is not somebody. This isn't like going up against somebody in a debate over isotopes. You know, what I mean, this is a literal man who has the ear of the president, and he's just like, no, they'll listen to a prophet. They'll listen to somebody that knows what they're talking about. And it's like, no, they won't. They want to hear what they want to hear. And I think the editing sequence of one of the best performances in this film is Alden Ehrenreich. That's somebody we haven't
Oh,
even mentioned
he's
at
so
all.
good.
I'm
He's
But
pro
so good.
Alden, man.
but the whole
We did him dirty after Solo.
the whole
Love that guy.
revelation of
Remember when he creamed his jeans and the rules don't apply?
could never not remember when we talked about that
That's
earlier
an
this year.
all-time. That's
When
an
we had
all-time
cream
moment
jeans.
in cinema.
Yeah, yeah. I think Levi's actually still sells those. Those
Yeah,
sell cream jeans.
I don't know how they dealt with denim back then, but that was a problem.
Okay. Anyway, I think that scene, obviously, when it's the reveal, when it's not even like a crazy twist. It's just it's just a state of matter of fact reveal of the editing back and forth between that sequence with what David Desmalchin's writing to Dane DeHaan to Louis Strauss involvement to then I love the scene where they hand him the essentially their findings and their ruling of his security clearance, and we see it like Lewis saying it more sincerely in his perspective, and then when it's in Oppenheimer's, Downey sounds so much more sinister and slimy when he's like, "Take my car home, if you will." You know,
Oh, he is.
there's
I mean, most of the time he's so good at sounding insincerely sincere. Like you
Mhm.
understand how people could be tricked into finding him charming, and then sometimes he can't help
He
himself.
can't help himself.
He's so good, man. Robert Downey Jr.
This is the
Get,
problem.
get over yourself, man. I resent his career.
He's
Stop
got
it.
he
Stop
has
it.
he has all the tools to be one of the great actors. I truly believe this. He has all the tools to be one of the great actors, and he refuses to. He's a little bit like Cruz. He refuses at times to give himself over
A
every
little
single
bit.
time to the process because he loves the limelight way too much. I mean, like Blunt just got
He loves
on the
money.
hall. I think Sophia, you and
He
I were
loves
talking
money,
about.
yeah.
Money. He
Yeah,
loves money.
he
Look,
loves
I love
money.
money too.
That's why I knew he'd go back to Marvel, even when he said he wouldn't.
God,
I
when
don't
that
understand
happened,
how he is going to be Doctor Doom. Is that going to be like tied to his Tony Stark or
I don't
you
think
know
so.
what? I don't know. We're not going to talk about it.
No, I mean,
No.
like we'll talk about it at the end of the year because we'll all three talk about
We're
that
not
on
going to talk
that
about
show.
it.
Yeah.
So when I told
We're gonna get to that movie at
when
the end
I
of the year.
told
It's gonna be
my
great.
uncle, who is a science teacher, to watch this movie, I thought he would really enjoy it. I said, "Oh, you got to see this movie. It's really good. It's like about science and stuff." And he said, "Mm, I can't see it. I can't believe that Florence Pugh did that to herself. I heard she's nude in the film." And I
He needs the
said,
airplane cut.
Did she,
"All right, man,
did she not? I guess he didn't
cool."
see We Live in Time or whatever that one movie is that with Andrew Garfield. What
Dude,
you're
that
thinking of
movie
that?
made me cry so
That
hard. And
movie's
that was
kind of
another
good.
movie where I was like, I'm not proud of this, but damn
No,
it, my
Oh, you
shirt is
guys,
wet.
come on.
I
Yeah.
No
cried
way.
in it. I thought it was very sincere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I just
wasn't
bought.
like good.
No, it wasn't
No.
great, but it was like it's
Made
like a
me
solid
cry.
3.5. Like it's like they're both really good together in the film.
Yeah.
I thought
I
I like
I think that on
better than After the
Downey,
Hunt.
oh yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was, well, After the Hunt.
Well, that's what that made. Well, I was thinking because of the Garfield connection. That's
Oh
all.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he hates
Um
Mondays.
Oh, like I was about to say lasagna.
Yeah, exactly, buddy. You understand me.
Okay.
oh my God. This is how I know it's a director watch
Did you?
episode
I was
with
like,
me.
did
Yeah.
you forget what show you were
Dude,
on?
we have
Even a
been
movie like
very
this.
We've been very
on
good.
We've been
track
really
for this
good.
episode. It's been
I think we've
impressive.
been very, very on track.
Hell
But I
yeah.
think one of the things that does work for Downey here, I mean, for me, like I am not as high on the performance as everybody else was that year. He won like every single award. I think this is through and through Cillian Murphy's movie. And we
Man,
haven't even really talked about the
Those
performance
baby blues.
yet.
it's one of the best
But
performances of the
it is really
decade.
incredible, I think, and I was just like even more moved by it when I just watched it. But I think what works for Downey here is that it's kind of the same thing that's working for Nolan a little bit, is that he is using what we know about him to, I think, affect how we view the character.
Yeah.
Because I think what we like when we think of Downey and when most audiences think of Downey, they think of this very charismatic, charming person who talks a lot, who can command a room, someone who plays a billionaire superhero.
Who talks
And then
really
you
fast.
yeah, and then you get this and it is he is using those things in some scenes, but he really doesn't have that in the same way. So when you strip that away from someone, I think it just inherently makes
Kind of taking
their
away his
performance,
superpower.
yeah, more interesting.
Yeah.
And I think what Nolan does here, and it's why that scene that I was talking about earlier when they're taking the bombs away from him, why that works so well is that it's almost like Nolan is weaponizing the type of movie that he has made before on audiences. Like he's giving you something that is very propulsive. It feels like a hero's journey. Like you are, he's gathering all of these people. You feel this energy working up to something. It feels really fast. And you get all of this setup and this build up, and you even have him suit up when he has that hat on
Oh my
the
God, that
desk
part
and you
is
see
so
the
funny.
hat
It's
and
When
like
the
he
when
had to,
pipe.
Tobey Maguire
when he
suits up in
has his
Spider-Man.
Batman moment in
It's
there,
so funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm. And I think it,
become the scientist you're born to be.
yeah.
Get
And
get
I
out of
think it
that
just
uniform, Robert.
it right, it moves to that big scene of the Trinity test and it feels like its own little contained blockbuster. And then it's almost like he just rips the rug out from under you and it's like, gotcha. This country's pretty
Well, there
terrible, isn't it?
there is
And that
a
moment, which you thought was cool, is actually
they
shitty as fuck. Yeah.
abandon the black and white stuff for a good hour.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
exception of like the one scene that conjoins them at the
Mhm.
Hmm.
table that is shown in color. But they basically abandon the Robert Downey Jr. stuff for an
Hmm.
hour at least.
That's one of my favorite lines in there too, early on, where he's like, "I'm asking you, Admiral Strauss." You know what I mean? Like it's just some
Hmm.
of that stuff there early on. It's just the hearings and everything, but you don't know. But to your point, Jay, we get a lot of that black and white in the third act.
Hmm.
And I
A lot
think,
of it.
do you think that's why? Because fucking people can't handle black and white anymore? Is that why
I don't
people get
think it's
mad
black
about
and
this
white. It's
thing?
just not as, I mean, in those black and white sequences, I would say there's less score. It's longer takes. It's edited very differently than the
Hmm.
Oppenheimer stuff.
Yeah,
And the Oppenheimer stuff is electric. I mean, it's just
but there's all the stuff with
incredible.
like
But I
inside
like sitting in that the
that.
black and white, the
Yeah,
courtroom,
I
I
like it.
like that.
I
The
like it too. I
hearing.
think this movie is a 5 out of 5. Like you don't have to change anything. There's stuff about it that I'm like, this is a little worse than the other stuff, but I still am like, collectively, this is,
but he's
you know,
still fucking
what else
playing
do you want to
around
do?
when like Jason Clark's interrogating the shit out of him towards the end, and he goes off, and it's no dissimilar to Downey going off, and they're both the fission and fusion are coming together by the end in the third act of just being of stating why they're so frustrated or why they're so why one is so petty, why the other one is so scared. I mean, it's a great
Man,
collision by the end.
Ehrenreich is great.
He's so
Love
good,
Alden
Hmm.
you
Ehrenreich, man.
know. And I know
Ever
you were
since
joking
Hail
early.
Caesar, I was like, this guy's a movie star. And then Solo was like, you know what? You're in jail. You're going
He
straight to
hasn't
prison.
he has an any time period face.
He does. He does. That's why he was so perfect for Hail
Yeah.
Caesar.
God, he's so good in this when he's just like, well, I guess you'll never know because I guess you weren't that important because
Hmm.
it wasn't about you, you know?
I know. It's like his You're So Vain. It's
It's
so
so
good.
good. It's
Hmm.
so good. But then also like Jason Clark is incredible in this movie as the biggest prick in the
Oh.
world. Tony
Jason Clark is just
Goldwyn,
always good. Macon Blair is
Macon
really good in
Blair is
this
so good
movie.
in this
Yeah.
movie. He's
Hmm.
just like the moment when David Desmalchin is reading that he is a communist, and just Macon Blair get the decision to have him get up and go sit by him, and he just goes,
Yeah.
"I'm sorry, Robert." Like he's just like I don't know what the fuck to do. Like the and Murphy again. Back to Sophia, your point of all this. This is an astonishing performance from him.
I was
This
thinking
is
watching it this time, I was like, this is subtle Daniel Plainview level, like all time stuff.
this is
I think it's incredible.
the swagger
Yeah.
he has, but then just all the internal stuff, those close-ups, it's impeccable work,
And Van
and
Hoytema makes it just pop
he
that much
Those
looks,
more, man.
blues.
and then when
Mhm.
Those
he's like,
blues.
and he's
I've
gangly as
lived with
shit,
that
he
my whole
lost so
life.
much
It's my
weight.
burden to bear.
He looks so tired throughout this movie. There's reported, obviously noted that he, while everybody else like Damon and Downey and Blunt and all this team were going out, he was barricading himself into his room there in New Mexico while they were filming this, barely getting sleep. Like, I know that
I mean,
that's like,
that doesn't make the performance any better. The
no, the
performance is
method
good.
stuff. It would if it would. Sorry, I'm just saying. You compared it to a Daniel Day-Lewis performance.
I'm just saying the quality of the performance.
But that's
I have
that's
someone
in
to
there.
compare it to.
It's inside of that
Who you got,
performance there,
Sophia?
where you feel his exhaustion of this project on the screen inside the performance, and then of the stress. And I think it's part of
I
Nolan's
think it would be
filmmaking,
way
but
cooler if he was going out and playing skee ball every night and then gave this performance. That would be awesome.
This is to me, this is a Faye Dunaway type of performance.
Wow.
And I
That
say
is
that
that's the
because
highest
of praise
compliment
from Sophia.
that's high praise.
I
Wow.
think, stay with me. I think that when people think of her, they think of like the big network types of performances, like when she has to play a character like that.
This is
But
such a small performance.
so much of her best work is actually like when you think of Chinatown and you think of how she's creating a character that you aren't supposed to know,
Mhm.
but you
Mhm.
can catch subtle glimpses of it just in certain scenes when when the actress wants you to and when the character doesn't want you to.
And so then you
And I think
project your own
Mhm.
stuff
And I
onto
think
the
that
character.
is what Cillian does. He is magnetic while still being quiet and subtle. And I don't really know how you do that entirely.
It's one of
I
the
mean,
only
it helps
times
every
like
time you have that like shaky camera in the background in the close up on him. Those shots are like so effective.
all that
I
stuff in
just
Cambridge at the beginning too, of just him being young and with the whatever hairdo's going on there, and
Mhm.
some of that stuff.
I had a
You
very
feel a whole
long
life from this
Yeah,
performance.
you
Yeah,
do.
agreed. I had
Yeah.
a long conversation with my wife about, she said, I can't decide if he's hot or not. And so we really broke that down. And he has a very,
Not in this movie, he's not, but in others,
he's
he
got
is.
a
Oh, I
he's got
vote
a
yes. I vote yes in
In
this
this
he's got
one?
a
series. I think so.
So
he's just
you
got
would
kind of a
sit.
slithering
Hang on,
look
Jay.
to him.
Wait,
I
Yeah.
like when he's
Jay.
sitting in the chair.
I
I
was
would
like,
say smash.
you like
Okay.
that
In
sort
the
of
courtroom or in the
Not
no,
in
in
the
the hotel.
deliberation
courtroom.
room?
In the when they're in the
His skin
that room.
looks so ashy in that. Like it looks
It
so
is very dry. He needs some
dry
moisturizer. Yeah,
in that
he needs
scene.
some
Like it
moisturizer.
he literally looks like a 95-year-old man in that the body, not the face, but like I'm
Mhm.
not saying that about anything with you, Sophia. I'm not
He
saying
just
that. I'm
has
just like,
incredible bone structure.
yes,
And yeah,
He's an
he has a
incredibly
great face.
we both agreed he's an incredibly striking person. I mean,
he's
he's got a
he's
face
a
for
very
movies.
in real life, I
But
will
she
say,
was like, is he
very striking.
hot? And I'm like, it just kind of depends on your taste, I think.
I mean, there's also something hot about like a guy who like
He's got those eyes, though.
loves all like various alternative music, is super punk and is extremely progressive in their values as well too. Like
His playlist that he releases
it's great.
is so good.
It's
Highly recommend.
he's awesome. Like
Yeah.
like
He loves
got
cheese.
I got to
Yeah.
interview him right after the whole Cheesegate thing.
hmm
He was super down to talk about anything. He remembered me when I met him a couple of months later. Like he was asking me about like how my family's Thanksgiving was. He was just super thoughtful guy, and he just seems like a lovely man, like a lovely gentleman. And it's great that like when Nolan was writing this, he's like, I don't usually ever write like thinking about a person, but he was talking about when he was given this book from Chuck Roven and he was writing it and everything. He kept looking at those images of this guy with these piercing blue eyes, and it's like for fortuitous purposes of working as this actor, small roles, great roles, but small roles throughout the course of last 4 or 5
wind
films.
that shakes the barley.
No, but just within not just within Nolan's filmography, Jay. Like he's
Oh,
made
the wind that shakes
small
the
roles,
barley.
but they're all very impactful things. To get called up to the majors, like you're putting you're putting Cillian Murphy in charge of being the lead of $100 million Christopher Nolan movie. And I don't, and as good of an actor as he is, I don't know if this is like very proven, but Nolan's trusted
That's a
him.
Nolan flex, man.
His
That was just
dedication, and
Nolan getting to
then
do what he wanted to do.
Murphy's
Mhm.
dedication, it all works. It's three people. It's Hoyt van Hoytema with that camera, it's Nolan with the vision, and it's the performance from Murphy inside of it.
I mean, it's a lot of different people. It's Goranson, it's Jennifer Lame. I mean, there were seriously shot.
No,
There's like a
yeah.
1.5 second shot of a train track that I was like, whoa. I mean seriously, I was like, that's something that you don't see in
Yeah.
that's art. I mean, I really truly was like in this giant $200 movie, it is artistic and there are choices being made every 3 seconds in this movie. It transcends blockbuster entirely and becomes something that feels incredibly thoughtful and I don't want to say important, but something that you need to is worthy of deliberation and conversation. It is a great film. It's a great film.
I was just gonna say a shot that I love that isn't even, it wouldn't normally be something that would strike me in a movie because I love the vistas that he has too. I think those are like some of the best shots,
Mhm.
like you were talking about when he's on the horse, and I love the scene when he and Kitty are both on the
And the
horses
writing.
together.
Yeah.
But even just the establishing shot of the bomb, like as they're building it.
Oh, that's another Nolan thing. He builds
Yes.
so many ticking clocks in all of his movies
Yeah, but
that
just
just
like
adds
seeing
so
it
much
there with
momentum to
that
them.
slow zoom into it.
Both that
Oh,
and the fishbowl.
yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
fishbowl with the marbles in it. It's like,
Mhm.
oh man, there's so much tension to this idea of can they fill up the fishbowl? And it just adds another layer of tension
When he's dropping
to
it.
the movie. That was the word that I came away with watching this movie. I was like, this is a very clever movie. It's so
Well, and like,
smart in the way that it tells
But
this
how are those marbles
very important. Like, I mean, it's such a weird story to tell for $200 million, but he has all these tricks that are sort of shorthand for blockbuster filmmaking. He's such a smart filmmaker.
correct you there? $100 billion, not $200 million.
mm.
Was it whatever? 9 figures.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. 9
I'm just
figures.
saying that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's no, because this is a movie. I say that because he's coming off of Tenet, his breakup with Warner Brothers.
That was an expensive movie.
This movie is a flex because Warner Brothers didn't wanted him to take less for his next project. The whole world kind of was just like, you shouldn't have released that movie at all, buddy. And it also doesn't make any sense, dude. And they fought left and right to get this
Nolan
thing
was
made.
pissed off because of
And he was pissed off because of the streaming part as well.
Yeah.
And so Universal was like, you want us to make a Christopher Nolan movie? Okay. It's like a 3-hour movie about it. We'll give you 100 million. And they did, given the star power and everything. And it made nearly $1 billion.
Almost $1 billion. Yeah.
And it was part of a
for
cultural
this
phenomenon.
movie, that is
Like,
so crazy.
I know that we talk about how great
This
Barbie was.
R-rated movie
And
is
how
crazy.
and that whole the Barbenheimer craze and everything. But it is truly, I think, more astonishing that not that Barbie didn't make $1.4 billion, which it did, and that's astonishing within itself. But the fact that this made nearly $1 billion and it's 3 hours long, and it's just
It's
about
about the guy that invented
it's
the
just
nuclear
about
bomb.
people sitting in a fucking
It's
room
about a quantum physicist. Yeah,
in the
it's
middle of
crazy.
July. Like, this feels like a fall movie award. Like you could.
Oh, this is such a fall vibes movie.
And yet
The look of it too.
it's
Yeah.
such a flex to be like, nah, we're gonna put it out that time, and we're gonna make just as much. And it's one of those where people go to Barbies and Top Gun Mavericks, and they go to those big, like summer movies. Those are summer movies. I would not equate this as a summer movie, as a blockbuster. It's kind of the same thing that he is challenging audiences like he did with Dunkirk. And people went hand over fist to see
Dunkirk
that
had
thing.
basically IP built in.
But it all, but
This did not in the same way.
well, I
I know
mean,
we
this,
talked about. I know in Dunkirk we were like highest grossing World War II movie ever. I don't really consider this a World War II movie.
Oh, I do. I think this
this
has
is a
the
World War
War
II movie.
II. Yeah, I think this
I
is a
just
World War II
don't
movie.
get this compared to what I feel watching Dunkirk. It doesn't even scratch the same itch at all for me.
Well, because Dunkirk, I think you feel a sense of pride, and I think people associate pride with war movies, and this is
Well, that's what
sad.
I'm saying.
This is
Yeah,
a
to
tragedy.
me, it's a
Yeah.
very different sort of
It's an
ask
American
from the
tragedy,
audience.
just like Prometheus.
Well,
Prometheus, that's a tragedy.
that's what I was gonna say is that I
Hell
think,
yeah.
in reading the book, I think I highly recommend the book if you haven't read it.
It's
It's actually
incredible.
it's really good, and it actually it's a very rich biography, and
Hmm.
it works really well too. I think if you're thinking about just adding some additional points to the film, because I mean the movie is long, but you're obviously not going to get all the details. My favorite detail from the book that I was so happy they put in the movie is that poison apple
Yeah.
scene. I think that is
That's
such
great.
an early detail in the book that tells you so much about who he is as a young person before he gets a little bit more power and cachet in that world. And he, in that case, is able to change the outcome. He's able to catch it right and pull it away,
Yeah.
and it doesn't get out of his grasp. And I think that Nolan is smart to include that here. But that book is called American Prometheus, and I think that what it does right is it also is exploring this idea of him as a mythical
Hmm.
character, him as a godlike character, and also as a tragic hero. And I think that is really
They
important
make
when you're
that they
thinking
make that
about
pretty
it.
clear in the opening text.
Yeah,
They make
well,
that
yeah,
pretty
that's a
explicit.
little. I'm like, okay, we got it.
That's the
Yeah,
Nolan literalism that
I get
yeah,
it.
it's that
occasionally gets away
literalism.
from him a little bit.
I have trouble with the literalism and some of his
That's
like
my problem too.
cornball
But I think I
dialogue
have
you
a
have.
little more, room
Yeah,
for
Yeah,
it than
but
you
then,
do.
but then you hear those feet start clumping, and you see the bombs start going off, and you're like, okay,
It
he's
really
cooking
is.
up
The,
something.
the score does 30% of the work in this movie, I think. It's
can you hear the music is?
unbelievable.
Okay, I
Yeah.
gotta tell you, hearing that with that live orchestra
Oh,
was
that's so cool.
was banging. I mean, it was
I
awesome.
Yeah, I think sometimes it does get way too overwhelming, but again, this might be a sound system thing, and just with some of the themes, but
I
it
was
is, I
all
mean, it
in.
is beautiful.
I was all in watching this.
It's a beautiful score.
Megan was. I watched this in the morning.
This is a movie I could watch
Megan
with
was
my eyes closed and I'd be like, I understand what this movie is
yeah.
trying to say to me.
Like Megan was watching this early in the morning, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start this at a minimal volume to hear the dialogue and everything. And at a certain point, I was just like, I am not doing this movie enough service if I don't crank it up. Kind of like your dad, Sophia. If I don't crank up the volume a bit. And I truly think by hour one, that's what woke her up. And I was
Hmm.
like, I'm sorry, there's no way to watch this movie if not at like full blast, like just immersing yourself into
The
this.
later Nolan movies, these last, and honestly, Interstellar too,
Yeah,
but Interstellar, which is a movie I just don't like.
I know, but like still, you can
But
say
but
I
like
love that
aesthetically
score.
speaking,
the soundscape of those
he's
four
nailed it.
movies, and honestly, you could go back further than that,
You
but
probably
the
could, but
last
really
four
these
at
last
least
four,
are just like they rattle your bones.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
that's why again it
And I
goes
can
back
understand
to
somebody being like, "This is too much, man," but
yeah,
I'm like,
but also
I
I'm
need
like,
my bones rattled.
yeah,
Thank you
that's
so much,
that's
Christopher
the
Nolan, for
but that's
rattling
the
my
purpose
bones.
of the whole exercise and him as a filmmaker and why Sophia, going back to your thing when you're saying like he's one of my guys, it's like, yeah, because there aren't many people in the world that'll make any of the three of us feel like this. There, if say, it's also probably just like we're not cool enough to admit, or maybe I'm not cool enough to just say it because it does feel very broy to just be like, no, yeah, Nolan's my guy or whatever. But there is undeniable things that he does that makes you feel things that directors, even to his equal, can't even capture.
It's hard not to at least appreciate a Christopher Nolan movie. And be
Yeah.
like, wow,
You're
that
not even
was
just meeting it on
epic
an
in scale
aesthetics
and
level.
impressive in craft.
Like on an aesthetics level alone, you're just like, if you're not even meeting it there, then you're going out of your goddamn way.
And then you go and watch Masters of the Universe, and you're like,
yeah, and you're just like, you know, or
you know what? They did their best there.
yeah, they did okay. Can we mention some other cast members that there's this? I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface. Like we didn't even mention Josh Hartnett.
Well, I was gonna say he's really
great,
the
and
hottest
he's looking
cast
good.
member.
Yeah, he's looking
he's
good.
He's the answer to
This
that.
is what got him Trap, and so be it. What the world was,
Trap.
the world was better for it. Yeah, Trap.
I mean,
rules.
this cast list is like, who's your? All right, so let's take away.
Let's take away Murphy.
Let's take away. Okay, just Murphy.
I think so. Just
Because
Murphy.
for me, Damon is the guy. After
you
Murphy.
think Damon's the glue?
You know, I'm kind of a sucker for Damon.
Yeah, I am, but
I think I'm going Alden Ehrenreich.
I mean,
I've
he's
said
great.
it. I've said it. I go back to what Jay said. It's really bad he's a shitty actor, but I mean a shitty person, because I think the performance, I still get a
Dude,
like just
Affleck is like
Affleck.
doing work.
it is terrifying. I think he's great. I do think
that Manchester by the Sea performance for me is like all time.
it's a
incredible.
great performance, and I'm excited for the new Lonergan movie that's going to come out.
I'll tell you who I love as well is Tom Conti, Albert Einstein.
Oh my God,
looking just
need
like
to talk
Albert
about
Einstein.
that.
Okay, Sophia.
When his hat blows away.
No,
He's got the lightest hat ever made.
Sophia, I know that you say, like, I don't know if you have some silly stuff in this movie,
This makes me laugh every time.
but do you know what I'm talking? You know what I'm about to bring up? So when the lawyer with Oppenheimer is talking about their defense of what they're going to do with Roger Robin, and all out of the sudden the car moves out of the way, and Einstein just walks out of the fucking trees and just goes, "He's got a point there, Robert." You know what I mean? Like, my country turned my back on me. You should maybe do the same. And every time Einstein walks,
There are some Marvel-esque like reveals.
it really is like that. I do like the walk in the trees shot, but then I also love Goranson with like the steel, like just banging and banging when they're revealing to Einstein about the atmosphere, essentially exploding. Like I
mean, the bookends of the Einstein, like the reveal of what they were talking
so
to each other
good.
about, I think is good.
It's so good. What do we think of Benny Safdie?
I think he's really good.
I like him. I do.
Yeah.
I think it's like
There's someone that built a bigger bomb.
Yeah, and I mean the whole part of the Trinity test too, when he's like slathering
where he just
on his
looks like
face
a,
and he has
sunscreen.
those
he looks like a
glasses,
giddy
yeah.
psychopath. You know,
Yeah.
I shan't believe this and will believe this about Robert Oppenheimer. Like he's going a little hard on the accent. We'll say that.
No,
he's a little ham bone.
You said it earlier, but the line where he's like, "Until someone builds a bigger bomb." It's like, oh, all right.
You're not the scientist anymore, Robert. You're a politician.
Good point,
You know?
brother.
You have a
Yeah.
he's so good. He's
It's good. They give everybody like a line that's potent. It's just classic Hollywood.
I think the
stuff.
guy
There's
that
a
plays
Skarsgård in this movie.
oh, he plays Chevalier, right? Or no, he plays
No, he's not Chevalier.
he plays Heisenberg.
What is his name?
Right?
No, it's the other one. My gosh, there's so many
Oh, there's so many.
scientists in this. He plays. Let me do a quick
Who are you talking
look.
about?
He's talking about the Skarsgård.
Hans Betta.
Hans Betta. Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Oh, that was a good. He's a good performer. He's the guy that's going up against.
And
Jack
then
Quaid is in this.
and then Chekhov's Rami Malek. Just
Chekhov's
coming
Rami
hot.
Malek.
Rami Malek is good though.
He's so
because
good in this movie.
His weird little deliveries in the
So
the hearing,
cunty.
at the hearing.
If
Yeah.
they didn't try to make him a
That's a
movie
lie.
star, he could be like one of the premier
Well, we
character
haven't-
actors in.
Sophia and I haven't seen the Irish saxophone. We left Cannes early before that was screening.
Are people liking him in that?
Supposedly he's very good in it. And that
What
kind of
was
feels
the,
very much his thing.
What was the secret agent? Like the secret agent movie they tried to make him.
Oh,
is
it
Oh,
the
Tim
agent?
and-
Is it the agency?
It
or
might just be called
agent?
the agent. That might even what it's called.
The amateur.
The amateur. That's right.
The
That's what it was
Amateur.
talking about. That was like
movie is like okay, except he's disastrous in it.
But if you had
Like,
a
he
movie
makes
star,
no sense. In
if
that
you had a
role.
movie star in that performance, it might be better.
that
I
that
don't
movie
think he's
is
meant to be a
okay.
leading man.
I
He's not
No,
meant to
agree.
be a leading man.
No,
Yeah.
no, he
he looks
plays a
like he
good creep.
looks.
Yeah, he looks like.
Problem. Sorry.
It's the eyes.
I think it's the mouth. It's a weird mouth.
I'm gonna choose the
He's
nose.
terrible in
I'll choose the
Nuremberg.
nose.
Like if you watch
I still haven't seen
Did you ever
Nuremberg.
watch Nuremberg
No, I
last
haven't
year?
seen Nuremberg.
It's like the number one movie on like Netflix for every old person in the
Yeah,
world. And my mom and I were she wanted to watch it, and I watched it like a couple
that's
months
Russell.
ago.
That's my
Yeah,
man
Russell,
Russell.
and he's going ham bone, and so is Michael Shannon
I
and
mean, count me in
Richard
with
E.
that.
Grant and Leo
Is Michael
Woodall.
Shannon doing an accent?
No, he's just an American lawyer in that.
Okay. All right.
But
I don't feel like
Malik
he could really
is
do an accent.
everyone's actually really good in that movie, and then Rami Malek's the lead, and it goes from scene to scene of whether he's good or if he's terrible.
I
And
mean,
that's
that
the
has a
problem.
bunch. That largely has a bunch of actors that I like watching act. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it is largely fine.
It's people acting in a room. It's
Yeah.
very coded to this, except it has no visual vantage point whatsoever in
Perfect.
aesthetic.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, it's just literally well, it's a James Vanderbilt film, who's the guy that wrote Zodiac, and it's kind of got that
And a
sort
bunch of
of
other stuff that's not good.
no,
Yeah.
but it's kind of got that. I'm not saying it is to the level of Zodiac, but it's very much like it's more of a written play piece sort of thing like that, and it's much more written out. But then it's missing, of course, a guy like David Fincher.
You know, it's a good
Dude.
movie, Zodiac.
Yeah, you know what's a good movie? The Social Network.
Oh, we can't
But
talk about
man,
Reckoning.
Social Reckoning. Woo,
You all
boy, that
in,
looks
buddy?
Good. That looks good.
She's disrupting,
Mhm.
She's disrupting.
just like Oppie. He was disrupting. You know.
He was
I
a
tr-
disruptor.
I truly could not figure out what she was saying in that first scene.
Do you guys like Jay? Do you like you haven't even talked about Emily Blunt. You talked about Florence Pugh. Did you like Blunt in the film?
I think she
Do-
nails the scenes that she is asked to nail.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the
you
writing
like
of
her
her
phrase?
character is more egregious than Florence Pugh.
Mm.
I agree, but I still was
I think
God, I'm
she
gonna sound like
does
a
a
dick,
good
but
job in the role.
I got kind of like
I
a
think
little
she's a
like
good actress.
kind of like I felt that when she shows up late before her whole moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about like you shouldn't. He's telling Macon Blair, you shouldn't judge us because like me and this woman, we've walked through fire together, and I just kind of felt that. I was like, all right, Chris, I know you're talking about your wife there. You know what I mean? But
He
like,
loves his wife. Let him love his
but
wife, please.
he loves his wife. You know what I mean?
He does love
and
his
she
wife.
would be the one to try to save his ass. You know what I mean?
And she
So-
probably would. Like
Yeah.
I have no doubt. I think she is a very cool, very smart woman. But I think when I say that about the writing of this character of Kitty and why it's like it's more egregious, or egregious is the wrong word, but maybe harder to forgive than the Jean Tatlock stuff, is that when I'm watching the Florence Pugh scenes, I think we can lean a little bit more into the point of view and say like he probably didn't really care about this woman all that much until then she dies,
And then
and
it's
he
all
obviously
about
feels
him.
it's
you
all
know.
about him. And I think, quick aside to when he's envisioning that and we see the glove,
Man, great
that
shit.
is so dark. And
Because
see that,
that's the truth is
yeah,
that people
it's the
don't know what.
communism. They don't know. Like it was ruled a suicide, but like she was also a communist. She could have been killed. Is he blaming himself? And that's him
That's the
envisioning right
perspective
his
stuff.
own
That's good,
hand, right? Like what is that?
yeah.
What does that mean? I think there's a lot of I don't know. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff happening there. But then I think with Kitty, what we're getting is you have that scene, which I also really like, when he's like, "We've walked through fire together. Like trust me, trust her." And I think I like her
She's
in
the one
that
that
scene
fights.
with the deposition. She's the one that fights. I like when she corrects his grammar and his I don't like your
I do
phrase. I
like
like that.
yeah.
I know what
Um,
scene you love the most from her when she's pissed that he shook Benny
When
Safdie's
she's
hand,
staring at
and
Florence
she
Pugh having sex
stares
with her
him down,
husband
and
in
it's
the
like,
interrogation.
I'm not fucking shaking your
Because-
hand. by
because
the
you
end.
know that is how I am.
Yeah.
All right, now
Yes.
we're at so
That's
we're at
me.
we're at the end
But the
of
back
the
half stuff is
Christopher.
good, you know.
But
at
so
the-
I think on the Kitty part though. So if he's saying that about her, I think we need to see that more in
Mm,
we I think it gets a little too like
a little too
stereotypical
drunk, you
wife,
know.
like,
Yeah.
oh, she's an alcoholic, like she's carrying around this
It's
bottle,
like
her flask falls out of her
smashing
purse,
machine.
like she's, you know, out hanging up the sheets on the clothesline, which I do like the bringing the sheets
Well, that
or
is a
taking the
theme.
sheets.
Yeah,
I
that's
like that.
thematic.
But it is very, there are parts of it that just feel like stereotypes of domesticity in that period. And I think like we could have seen a bit more from her. Maybe I think it's also part of it, like when he meets her, she's a biologist and she has this really interesting life, right? She's been married multiple times.
And
She
his
clearly
genius
has
cages her in
a
a lot of
history.
ways.
But yeah,
Yeah.
she has to go to Los Alamos and she has to be there for years
She's the baby
with him.
maker. Yeah. That's what he thinks of her at that point. He's, and
Yeah.
she's enabled him because she's like, no, Lawrence won't get this done. It's only you. So essentially, all of this is a product of
She likes
her
that
quote
power,
unquote
I think, that
support.
she
Yeah.
sees together, right?
Hmm.
With the two of them, and I think they're similar. They hit it off intellectually in a
Yeah.
way, right? And so I think I wanted more development from her.
Yeah.
I yeah. And I feel like that would have made her performance a little bit better too, because it wouldn't be so, yeah, smashing machine.
I
You're
wish
right,
it
Jay.
was I wish there was more in the back half because I think I can justify it in the front half because he's so focused on creating this bomb that he doesn't really think about his consequences. I do think the stuff with her in the back half's better because you start seeing him realize that, or you start, her frustration with telling him about Gene on the stand and being honest about that. Like stuff like that I thought was good. I wish that there was, you're right, Sophia, more from her, but again, it's all through his perspective of like he probably thinks that this is good enough, or the small memories that he's gonna just remember of her is like she was the one that stood up for them when he was actively wanting to take this bashing. Jay, you were gonna say something?
Well, yes, I'll say one other thing first. Occasionally, when I think about, oh, he didn't do the female characters very well, there's part of me that's just like, stop trying to do something you're not good at, and just
Hmm.
don't include it. Which he does, I think, successfully ish in this movie. But it's not, Little Women or anything. I wouldn't say quite, almost. But
Well,
He would have loved killing Beth.
I mean,
Um,
yeah.
on that though, quickly, like I think not to be like you have a point, don't include women. I'm not saying that. I'm not gonna make that leap, but I think you can look at something like There Will Be Blood versus The Brutalist. You can look at those two
Ooh.
movies. I think they're trying to, you know, do similar things, and There Will Be Blood, I think really wisely focuses on that one character and
Mm.
the few people within his orbit and doesn't try to really venture outside of that to do like any kind of, I mean, we could actually, you could write a thesis on Daniel Plainview and
His
his
relationship with
lack
women.
of relationships with
Yeah.
women. But, and then you get into something like The Brutalist, where the first act, I think, just zooms. It's great. And then you get into that second act and it's
Felicity Jones shows
Felicity Jones shows
in
up
that
and she just
wheelchair.
feels like an afterthought. It's like, why are we doing this here
She just
like
doesn't.
this?
Well, it's the choices of that performance, but then it's like,
But it makes you wish that the focus was on that core
yeah,
But also, it's
relationship.
another one of those things, additionally, where it's like that makes the movie 3 hours long instead of 2.5. And you're like, maybe it could have been a little more streamlined.
Hmm.
I don't know.
and in this, it's
Um,
like,
I mostly like the stuff in this movie, but
yeah, I mean, like his relationships are all transactional.
Ryan wouldn't stop texting me about the nudity. It was very weird.
um, no, I think, but to before that stupid joke from you, Jay, I think that they're all transactional. I think the things with Chevalier show that of that he's a very selfish person, and I think that
He
his
is actually a very interesting character.
he's very interesting,
He
Hmm.
and
loves to feign humility.
yeah, and I
Hmm.
just think that the fact that like he's asking essentially this person that he's known for a little bit to take care of his child,
Which is a crazy moment.
which is so crazy. just the in and out of trusting these people and yet not understanding that some of these relationships can be your downfall. Some of them can be to your benefit. Because he's a wild man. He's wheeling and dealing to get in a race against the Nazis. That's all that matters to him. And then when it's not that, I mean, he's delaying it, but he ultimately knows what's inevitable. And so I don't know. I mean, like I think that there could have been more, but I think also the movie moves at such a momentum, even with what is there, that again it goes back to point of view and I think the overall journey and what he shows of Robert being this completely flawed, while the genius and revolutionary, this dangerous character as well too, of like of the fact that he has a lot of regrets in his life. Gene is a regret. Kitty is a regret. Like all of like their children are absent completely in this film. I think that's a choice by him to show about Oppenheimer.
That's a perspective thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's from his point of view, and he doesn't care about those kids.
He doesn't care about those kids at all. They're always gone.
Yeah.
Even though
What
they're
it has
there.
built in, it has the built-in Nazi enemy, so you're automatically like, yes, beat the Nazis. But at the same time, they make him a very flawed character, which I think is a feat. I don't think that's an easy thing to do, to be like, this guy won World War II, but also, boy, oh boy, this other stuff. He's got some baggage.
I think the scene, as much as like where the close in of him by the lake, the scene of him putting himself in David Dastmalchian's shoes and watching the bombs of history go off and what the sky represents now because of all these missiles, and his inner thoughts of the world is on fire because of his invention. I think that to me is just, it's so profound. It's
that final shot. That is something where I maybe lean a little bit into, dude, we get it. Like, we understood.
But I don't feel it in the moment, Jay. Like like, here's the thing. You talk
I'm
about
the guy who also called Network too literal. So,
well, it's also like, I want to push back a little bit on you from being the most literal filmmaker on the planet, because Aaron Sorkin does still exist in this.
He is one of the most literal
motherfuckers on this planet. Like, and has
I think he's gotten less literal. I mean, you see all the expressionistic stuff that he's doing in this movie. But he's not trying to.
I thought you were talking about Sorkin.
No.
Well, it's also Nolan the writer and Nolan the director.
Right. Well, Jonathan's not involved as well, which I think has been a benefit to his career
in the last three films.
He's not trying to rationalize emotion in this movie. He's
dealing
with science, and he's dealing with world events, and I think that's to the benefit of the movie.
But there is a striking,
to try to rationalize hypotheticals and things that you can't understand.
But there is a point, and I do think a very striking. That image is so striking to be the lasting image of your. Outside of his face, of this blockbuster, of that the world is always going to be on fire. It is. He didn't ignite the atmosphere and kill us all, but his actions have killed millions. The whole idea of I have blood on my hands, that is not just for the past. This will be for the future. The future.
And I would say the most effective version of that is the raindrops that happen like
correct
5 seconds.
And it's a callback. It's a bookend. That I think is marvelous.
It's that inevitability again too, right?
It's the bookends. Yeah, he loves a bookend.
He loves a bookend.
I love a bookend too.
Yeah,
I love a bookend.
Get out of here, Jade. That shot's
I
incredible.
love this movie. This is 5 out of 5 movie for me. I love this movie.
Anything else?
I love to play devil's advocate.
Yeah. Anything you guys want to mention? Lastly, anything? I mean,
gosh,
Ludwig Göransson, absolutely incredible score here. One of the few scores I have over the last couple of years that I have still on vinyl. I agree with you, Jay. The editing in this movie is insane. I
think that's really the MVP of the movie.
Oh yeah,
it's honestly been the MVP of the last 3 Christopher Nolan movies.
I mean, like Sophia and I were talking about it when it came out in 23. I was like, it's the editing. The editing of
Mhm.
this movie is
He
what
works in
The
montage. Like the
cross-cutting
whole movie is
between
a
the
montage. It's incredible.
yeah, the cross-cutting between the cross-examination, like the hearing for Strauss and the
Mhm.
deposition, like kangaroo court
mhm.
moment. Ugh, that's so good.
It's so good.
That's why I love the third hour.
It's as good as any action film you're gonna see
Hmm.
because it's just so tense and it's building
And
up
for
in the
me,
score
it's a lot about impressions and how it makes you feel as opposed to, what is
and
literally happening on the
all the
screen.
lighting techniques are all natural. They're not CGI. They're not, he's I don't know how he did this explosion of this test or whatever, but he said that he didn't use CGI. So it's all quote unquote
It's
practical, which is
impressive.
insane. I mean, it's Hoyte van
Oh,
Hoytemas, the pictures of him carrying this fucking IMAX camera around left and right, like those
Does
are
seem like
not.
such a pain.
It seems like such a pain in his back. He's got to go to the chiropractor at
You
least
got to do
probably twice a week.
ADR for basically every line in the movie.
on the Trinity test, quickly, I love that he cuts out the sound.
Yeah,
Oh, I love the delayed sound of all the explosions
Yeah,
too.
that
Yeah,
too.
that
Hmm.
that I love.
still
Really smart
one of
choice.
the my favorite videos ever was uh of a guy watching this in he let out a fart right when the bomb dropped. You ever seen
Definitely.
that video?
I
And
I don't
people
know that
have.
and
I
the
don't know that I've seen that
and
one.
it's like and the guy cackling in the
Can't
back
say I've
going
had the
ha, ha,
pleasure.
ha. Like it's like an afternoon screening. It was like 3 weeks after the movie came out. It pops up on the timeline every now and then. It's Sophia, you know what I'm talking
I
about.
know what
It's
you're talking about.
those are
I can
videos I
remember that
never
so clearly
those are
now.
videos I hate, but my God, it just right when it dropped, it was
I'll tell you
perfect.
the one video that I will just watch if it ever pops up for me. And Sophia, I will say shame on you for getting back on Twitter.
I know.
But
It's not going to be for long though. I'm going to
nobody's
hop off again.
perfect.
Yeah.
The a lot Barry Lyndon clip
I watch it
is
anytime it
just like
comes up.
it's like the greatest video ever made.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so funny. It's
And
so good.
the Alyssa Liu gold medal routine.
Hey, don't even get me started.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think.
Anyway, last thought. So this we're recording this pre-Odyssey. Who is the best female Christopher Nolan character to date?
For me, it's Murph in Interstellar.
Murph, don't let her go,
Don't let him go,
Murph.
Murph.
Don't let her go. Don't
No,
let him go,
Murph.
Murph.
I was your ghost, Murph.
One
Uh,
Um. Oh wow, you're
I
really
don't
asking me
know.
the
of my
tough
friends
questions.
named their child after her. Isn't that crazy?
Named it Murphy.
Yeah,
Murph,
named her Murphy after
That's
Interstellar.
that's great,
Yeah.
don't let him go, Murph.
Murph. There's there's one of the nurses that is handing out butter and jam to the soldiers in
In
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk, yeah, that was a very
She's pretty
nuanced
badass.
performance.
Cause like that bread looked good. Um, that jam's dynamite.
Actually, who I think I'm going with?
DeBecky.
Carrie Ann Moss in Memento.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I
That's
think
a
she's
good
very
one.
good at that.
I do like DeBecky and Tennant though.
I do like DeBecky and
She's
Tennant.
so tall.
It's one of
Oh
the
my
only persons
God.
that's ever used her best feature,
Her
which is
heel.
her length.
Is she taller than
Um,
me?
she's got to be at
She's
least
6'3".
Oh, she's
yeah.
taller than
She's
me.
taller
I
than both
can't
of
be in the
us.
same
She's
room as
tall.
her.
Yeah.
I've established this on the podcast. I can't be in the room with people that are taller than me.
Really?
Yeah, I can never be in the same room as you.
Male or female, right, Jay? Just make that
Correct.
clear.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
I just didn't want you to be like I can't be around tall women.
No,
That's not something that we need out there for people to already
Mm-mm.
think about with
anyone.
your
Nope,
other
nobody.
political views.
How tall is Robert Pattinson?
I think
Is he like
6'2".
normal
I
size?
think he's like 6'2".
I think
Okay.
Sophia, you're right.
We'll see each other eye to eye. I can deal with that.
I do like Hathaway a lot.
He's 6'1", absolute
In
Mm.
I think
shorty.
Hathaway's really good in Dark Knight Rises. I don't think that
Selena
mo-
Kyle, I love.
I don't think she's particularly. I don't think it's particularly great film, but I think she's pretty good. She's like literally one of the best things about that movie, which is not what you can
Brian,
say
She is
about.
the best thing about that
Yeah.
I've
movie
said
for
it.
me.
I've said it on the Dark Knight Rises episode. Not going to talk about it.
Too important.
I'm tapping out on that one.
Unlike Jay, I actually think she's really good in Interstellar as well too. Um, I like Rebecca Hall in The Prestige. I think that's a really sad performance. Obviously, shout out Dead Wife.
Murph.
But yeah,
Murph, don't let him
those are
go,
probably the
Murph.
best ones. Those are probably up there. Um, I would not say Hilary Swank in Insomnia. That's a no-no. Um, but
Oh, don't
yeah,
let her discover the
He's
gun.
gonna have to get it together for the Odyssey though,
this is going to be
because he
his
has
biggest task.
a lot of women in the Odyssey.
A lot. I think he's up for it. This is his new challenge.
Oh, don't let him run to the Cyclops, Murph. Don't let him do it.
Oh my
Why
God.
does it sound like Bill Clinton?
It does sound.
It does sound like Bill Clinton.
I did. I did not.
I
Let
did
him
not
run to the
run to
Cyclops.
the Cyclops.
Don't let him go, Murph. No.
I did not run to the
No,
Tesseract.
Murph.
Jay,
Anyway, yeah.
before we get out of here,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to test your award season knowledge based on the film we just reviewed, Oppenheimer,
It's got nominated for a lot of stuff.
in a segment we like to call It's an Honor to Get Nominated. Now, Jay, you said it.
Mhm.
This was nominated for a ton. How many Oscar nominations was Oppenheimer nominated for? And if so, well, we know so. What was it nominated for? And did it win
Picture,
anything?
it won. Director, it won.
Correct.
Supporting actor, it won.
Correct.
Did it? Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Actor, it won.
Correct.
God, this thing cleaned up. What else? Editing, it won.
Correct.
I hope. Okay.
Yeah.
Cinematography, it won.
Correct.
Oh, what else? Score, it won.
Correct. That's the 7 wins.
Those are all the wins.
Those are all the wins.
Okay.
Now you got to
How
get the rest of the
about,
noms.
production design? Nom.
It was nominated for production design.
How about Stooms?
Oh, buddy. It was nominated for Stooms.
I
Let's
love
go.
the costumes.
I love Sophia. You love the what?
the Stooms.
Thank you. We just want
Yeah,
accuracy.
I'll
on the
clarify.
show.
All right. What else is left? Sound?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a loud film.
Yeah.
Was this was at the point where there's only one sound?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At this point, meaning 3 years ago.
Okay. Am I still missing something?
Correct. You're missing 2 things.
3 more.
3 more. Yeah, 3 more.
3 more. Holy moly.
You're right. Sorry, Sophia. How did I miss?
No, you got it.
Well, one of them should have honestly been a clear win.
There's no song.
Oh.
No, there's not a song.
Did Emily Blunt get a nomination?
That is correct. Best supporting
That's
actress nomination, Emily Blunt.
silly.
She didn't like your phrase.
God, I'm just forgetting the categories at this point.
Hey, Jay, how did they look at the end of the film?
One of the worst things about the movie, I think,
One
actually.
of the worst things about the movie.
But unintentionally funny.
It's kind of
Makeup?
unintentionally.
Oh, makeup.
Makeup and
Yeah.
hairstyling.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, they've got a
Yeah,
little
for
bit of Harry
Penny
Potter and
Safdie
the
looking
Deathly
like-
Hallows energy in this one.
With those jowls. Yeah.
Mhm.
Just everybody was like, make them all fat.
Mhm.
So I'm missing one more.
Correct. You would probably say this is Nolan's weakness.
Oh, screenplay.
Correct.
Okay.
Screenplay.
I think the screenplay is quite good.
13 Oscar nominations, the most of any in the year of 2023. It would, of course, won Best Picture.
That's got to be. Is that close to the most ever?
It is not close. It's one off.
It was one away from the record at that point.
Yeah. Now the record is Sinners
Sinners.
with 16.
But everybody wanted to poo-poo that, but it still would have been legitimate even without the added category.
Yes, it would have been 15 even
Yeah,
without
people
the
were being
added.
silly about that.
Well,
Mhm.
I mean, still didn't win. So there you go.
Well,
It's lost the most- it's
and-
lost the
wins
most
It's
and
lost the
Oscars
most
in
Oscars
history.
now.
That's the
Yeah.
that's the weird part of that stat.
It's
now.
not that weird.
You know.
I just mean
Sounds about right.
And sometimes you make the NBA finals and you lose 4-1. You
All
know?
right. All right. Sometimes your team never even gets there. So Sophia, would you still give this Best Picture? Would you give this Best Picture actually? Because I don't think you
No.
would.
Mm-mm. I would not. I looking at the
Maestro.
lineup now, yeah, I'd give it
A
to Maestro.
maestro.
No, I'm just
Talk about
kidding.
acting. Holy shit.
I mean, no, I think this is a very good Oscar year. That's the thing. I think it's a really, really good year. There are some films I really don't like that are here, but overall, I think it's really good. I think I'd give it to Flower Moon.
I'm a Flower Moon boy myself.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm still Flower
'Cause
Moon picture of the decade so far.
I think the reason why is I feel like that movie tackles similar things in a way that connects with me a bit more deeply.
Mm.
Like American evil and greed and power in
I can't
yeah,
deny
a way
that.
that aligns more with my sensibilities.
I would say that they are akin to one another as um with Oppenheimer probably being a little bit more quote unquote entertaining.
Oh,
Of
yeah, I mean
of
it's
Yeah,
way more
agreed.
entertaining,
For sure.
but the point
I
of
think.
Killers of the Flower Moon is to feel that slow knife sinking.
Killers of the Flower
Hmm.
Moon is a movie that leaves you kind of like shaken.
Yeah.
It's
Oppenheimer makes you feel
Oppenheimer kind of leaves you. That's
there's
a
yeah, it
bummer
leaves
at
you,
the end
yeah.
too.
It
But
leaves you
Kill-
bummed, but you're just like, whoa. You know what
Killers
I
of the
mean?
Flower Moon, I
I
think, is
mean,
a
you're like
very, very
Killers of the
complex
Flower Moon, you
movie.
end and you're like, fuck. You know what I
But
mean?
that ending is so good. Oh,
So
But
with
good.
then
the
but then Zone of
circle at the
Interest, you
end.
just
Oh,
feel like shit.
Ooh.
Like I know Jay,
I
you
still got
don't.
to rewatch Zone of Interest.
But Sophia
I
and
love
yeah,
my he's my director winner. Glazer.
I give it that I
They
See,
put
that's
that
the thing.
camera
Like
right there.
but
they're
that's
right there,
important.
man.
That it
And
works
said,
so
"Go."
well.
No, I know.
I think it
That's a
worked.
movie I underestimate. I
Yeah.
like it, but I think if I watched it again, I'd be like, holy
I
shit.
tell you this: if Nolan won for Dunkirk, I'd totally be on board with you, Sophia, about Glazer. Because like
Mm.
the more I've thought about it, like I
I'd
think
be fine with
PTA
a Flower Moon picture
I think
Nolan
PTA won
director.
exactly
That'd be
for what he
fun.
should have won for.
Yeah, I'd be fine
As
with
much
that.
as I love Phantom Thread and There Will Be Blood, I think he won exactly for what he was all supposed to win for.
Yeah,
And
and I
so
wouldn't want him to lose those Oscars to win earlier, even if
yeah,
I like those movies
there's
more.
something about it was just the right thing. It was the right
Yeah.
project, the right time, and everything for him. But I would say that like to me, I would get rid of those uh Shape of Water wins and probably give him picture for Phantom Thread. But I think the direction in Dunkirk is it's kind of the start of
Dunkirk
all
is
this,
immaculate.
and so, but there's just something about but also underrating Marty here too. Like
Hmm.
Marty's.
Can you give me
Those are three films that are just fuck. Those are movies.
pretty
Those are
perfect?
like
Good movie year.
pretty fucking perfect movies.
Can you give me supporting actor?
Yeah, I can. So Robert Downey Jr. won for Oppenheimer. Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, a performance that doesn't exist. Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. Ryan Gosling for Barbie, and Bobby De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, who should have won.
You can find Matt Damon in there.
You could find Matt Damon. You could find literally half the cast of Oppenheimer and get rid of Sterling K.
I think
Brown and Mark
Damon is
Ruffalo.
so good. Damon is just like you plug him in and he's gonna kick
It
butt.
didn't make any sense. It truly didn't make any sense that he didn't get any traction whatsoever for that performance.
What are his acting noms? Did he get
Damon?
nominated for Good Will Hunting?
I think so. I'll look it up.
Acting. The Martian
Sophia,
he was nominated for, right?
Sophia, do you
Matt
think that
Damon. What were you gonna say?
do you think it's crazy that he wasn't up for
Kind
anything here?
of. I mean, I just think it's weird that they didn't
At-
try more. Like he
At least that he wasn't even
in the
like in the
conversation
picture.
at all.
Yeah. But
He's
it's like I
got-
guess they were going for Downey.
Golden Globes, like anything.
He's got 3 acting noms.
Did he get it for the rugby movie?
This is a Best Actor nom for Good Will Hunting, Best Supporting Actor nom for the Clint Eastwood film Invictus,
There we go.
and then Best Actor nominee for The Martian.
The Martian.
Do you know
That's
what his best performance is, though?
The Good Shepherd. Sorry.
Talented Mr. Ripley.
Oh, he's great in that
I
too.
mean, he's great.
He's
in that.
so good in that.
I love The Good Shepherd. It's a very underrated film, directed by Robert De Niro.
It's my favorite Damon.
The American Fiction, when all was an adapted screenplay, was the weird one to me too.
Yeah, just a clean sweep mostly all year.
How tall is Matt Damon? Matt 5'10".
I was just gonna
Okay.
say he seems like he would
Okay,
say he's
man.
5'10", but is 5'8".
I would just be honest though. I wouldn't be putting in Damon first up if I was taking out people in supporting actor though. 'Cause Charles Melton for May December exists.
Well,
and that performance is, yeah, it's right up there with Murphy for me.
I love Milo Machado Grunner, the kid in Anatomy of a Fall.
Oh, the fucking animal abuser. Oh
Mhm.
shit!
I think he should have
I
gotten
gotta
in.
look at 2023 now.
I think Dominic Sessa for the holdover should have
And
been
Dominic
considered
Sessa
too.
for the holdovers.
He's fucking
liked him.
great in that
Man,
movie.
Holdovers are so
Ruffalo and
good.
Poor Things is whatever.
Holdovers
I
is
love
like-
the holdovers.
It's such a good rotation now for the holidays. It's like a really
Mhm.
good one.
Yeah,
And I like Divine Joy
Well,
Randall's.
I'm an
performance.
Iron Claw guy.
I do too.
Oh, would you go Jeremy Allen White?
No, I think I just put
You put
give me
Efron
actor.
in.
Give me actor.
Cillian Murphy,
Okay.
winner.
I mean, he's
Bradley
not better than
Cooper.
Cillian Murphy.
Bradley Cooper for Maestro.
Mm-hmm.
Coleman Domingo for Rustin. Paul Giamatti for the holdovers, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction.
Love Jeffrey Wright. Get him out of here.
No,
Put in Zephron.
I get Coleman Domingo out of there before
See,
I get.
I like Rustin. Y'all, I think both of y'all are not fans of Rustin. I like Rustin.
It's not that. It's just like I don't want to get rid of Jeffrey Wright because I love Jeffrey Wright. I'm not a particular fan of
I love Jeffrey Wright too, but
I
this
don't
is
think it's
probably
like
the
a
only
great
time we'll be able to
performance.
put Efron in. You know,
We can get rid of Bradley Cooper.
that's fine. I don't like that
Whoa.
movie. That's actually probably my least favorite movie in that lineup.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not, not a
Of the
I mean,
Jay, what's your least favorite of this lineup? This is the picture: Oppenheimer, American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Past Lives, Poor Things, The Zone of Interest.
Maestro for sure. That's a good lineup.
Poor Things for me.
Poor Things is the easy answer there.
Yeah, mine's Maestro. I like.
I like
Poor Things.
mine.
I don't
Maestro
like
was
Lan-
fun
I
in
don't
the
like
theater.
Lanthimos, but I like. Poor
Maestro's an insane.
I'd put
film.
Naiad in before Poor Things.
Jeez. Not Naiad.
Naiad's this year.
This is the year Emma Stone beat Lily Gladstone and Sandra Hüller.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was a good year. I'm looking at the movies.
Yeah.
It's a good year.
This was the year that
Godzilla -1,
Jodie Foster got nominated for Diane.
Red Rooms, Ferrari,
Crushing Diet Coke
The
cans.
Killer.
Oh, I love Red Rooms.
Priscilla's
Barbie.
good. Asteroid City is quite good.
Oh, Kaylee Spaney needed to be in Best Actress. She was so good for Priscilla.
For Priscilla, as some people
Jacob
call
Elordi, put him in supporting actor.
He's so
a
good
great
in that
Elvis.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
it. He
It's too tall.
is a better Elvis than
Makes
Austin
me
Butler.
insecure. That is not
I
true.
agree.
No,
Thank
I'm an
you,
Elvis.
Sophia.
You know, I'm an Elvis stan. I
The
watched
boy,
parts of that movie recently. I was like, this dude
the Boy and the Heron,
gonna be a movie star by hook or by crook. I'm gonna make it happen.
great film. This was Zone of Interest. Society of Snow. I remember that because I still haven't seen it.
Oh, I love
Really?
Sight of Snow.
Still haven't seen it.
I didn't care
What is
for
it
it.
called?
I've Society of the Snow.
That's
one
not
with-
a movie.
Yes. Perfect Days.
Good film.
You know,
Excellent.
sometimes you go to a coffee shop and you have a perfect day.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you clean the toilet. And
This was the year that-
Godzilla -1, Best Visual Effects. Love that movie.
Jay,
That is
are
awesome.
are you excited for Godzilla -0
Is that coming out this year?
this year, buddy?
That's like my most anticipated for the rest of the year. Then
Yeah.
I
Really?
loved Godzilla.
He
-1.
did. He loved that movie.
From the jump.
He was the
very
one that really
pro.
was like, go watch
Yeah.
this, Ryan. And I was like, okay. And then it was so good. This
A
is when
great companion piece to Oppenheimer.
Wes Anderson won his Oscar for Henry Sugar. This was I'm Just Ken in the Gosling performance.
I mean,
That
great.
was
Gosling is also great in. I would probably give him the award over Downey.
over De Niro.
I'm just saying over the guy who won.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like De Niro and Gosling more than Downey.
I like Downey, but to your point, Sophia,
What won
you were
best
saying
song?
this.
Was it the
It was the Billie Eilish one.
song?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Should have been Dua.
Should have been Dua.
Should have been Gosling, man.
She's having a great time right now.
Love everything from her wedding.
Haven't been paying attention.
No, unfortunately,
Not interested.
You don't want to see the photos?
Married.
Sophia. I know that one of the great sound wins of the like literal categories history was for the zone of interest.
Yeah.
Gotta say, Oppie's like very close second. After watching this, I forgot how so integral this sound of this movie is important to it.
It's a Nolan movie, of course it is.
You know, and so
Loud.
like I know that the uniqueness of that sound and zone of interest is going to win, would never take it away from it. But I would just say, if Zone of Interest didn't get nominated, this totally should have gone to Oppenheimer as well.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a runner-up, yes.
Definitely
but
that.
Zone clears for me. That's like one of the best wins.
I agree. It's a fantastic
It's so great to have
one.
Sophia on to put up with this for 15 minutes or whatever. Thank you so much.
Don't
No,
worry.
I love this.
In a couple of
We've
years,
been on task.
in a couple of years, we're
This was
gonna
actually a pretty streamlined up.
yeah. And now we're about to go.
How can
Crazy.
I screw this up?
No,
Sophia?
no.
Thank you so much for coming on and talking about Oppie.
Yeah.
If you could, please tell everybody where they can find you and all your work on the internet, as well as your recommendation of the week.
Yeah, you can. Well, thank you guys for having me on. This was a time, and we honestly stayed really on topic, which is incredible.
We have the ending
Can't
of
tell
the
you
show.
the last time we did that.
We have the ending.
You can find me
We're losing
on
our
Twitter at Sophia, and I'm fading. I feel myself fading. You can find me on Twitter at Sophia_Sim, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at Sophia Sim. You can find my work, reviews, interviews, and more at AwardsWatch. I also didn't really say this earlier, but I think if you are looking for the Japanese perspective on the issues that are discussed in Oppenheimer and you feel like you want more of that perspective, there are many movies I think that you can watch. I'm a firm believer in that. I just don't really think it's totally Nolan's story to tell. And I would recommend this. This can count as one of my recommendations of the week, but I would recommend Godzilla from 1954. I think it is actually
a great
really
film.
Great film.
Thoughtful film.
And yeah, thoughtful film. And you can really see, I think, how the effects of the bomb haunt that film. And it is really beautiful. And there are also a number of, and very dark, there are also a number of nonfiction films you can watch. Maybe I'll put together a list on Letterboxd. But yeah, I think that's one of my final things on the film. And then recommendation of the week. So hard because I've been watching so many sporting events, which is so unlike me.
Big sports time.
Yeah. But I would say recommendation of the week. I've also been preparing for an upcoming supporting actress series, so lots of movies there. You know what? I will go with I've watched so many bad movies. You know what? I'm gonna go with The Birdcage, which I just watched again. I know you guys
What a
covered
movie.
this on your Mike Nichols series, but it turns 30 this year. Came out in 96, and I just rewatched this. And I think it is just like, it's still so relevant. It really holds up. I think, yeah, of course, there are some things that don't age well, but like Robin Williams and Nathan Lane together are just
God, it's funny.
fantastic. It is so funny.
a
I was
perfect
laughing
movie.
the whole time.
Love
So
a
I'd say
funny
The
movie.
Birdcage.
I think it's
So-
my number 3 Nichols.
Mm.
It's somewhere there. Yeah. It's
Graduate, Wolf, Birdcage.
well, not Wolf. Jesus God. Sophia, this episode actually comes out. We're recording this ahead of time, folks. This episode comes out after the supporting actress rankings. So do you is there a prediction that you want to make that maybe we can come back to and see if we got it right? It's literally the part 2 will release the second week.
A prediction? What do you mean?
Well, do you want to like say like what you think or like abdicate or say what might be a unanimous
What
S
do you
tier?
think is the most overrated winner of all time?
She's gonna-
Overrated?
yeah. Or what do you think the group's going to say is overrated is the
So
question.
there are a couple that I'm excited to talk about because I think we might differ on them.
Hmm.
I think that Catherine Zeta-Jones in Chicago will be an interesting one because I love that performance, and I
And
know that
there's
someone
somebody,
on the episode does not like it, so
and
gonna
they're
have to fight
wrong.
for her.
They're wrong.
Um, I my favorite win in the category, I'm watching all of them. My favorite win in the category is still Ruth Gordon in Rosemary's Baby, so she needs to be an S tier. I'm excited to have the Meryl and Kramer versus Kramer conversation again. Um,
Jay, you want to come on just for that?
No.
Okay. All right.
yeah, that's wild. It's coming up fast. Lots of moms
Lots of
in the
moms.
early years, and I'm excited to yeah, see how they go. Lots of fun ones in the 70s. 60s,
Yeah.
70s have a lot of good ones.
Yeah. A lot of rough ones in the
Oh, Linda Hunt will be interesting to talk about
Linda
too.
Hunt will be a very interesting conversation.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, we do this every year. It's going to be fun to release those out in the wild as well as this episode in the same week. So, Jay, same drill, my man.
Yeah, I'm on.
Where can we find
Writing
you
I'm
and all
doing
your
at the
work?
great website, awardswatch.com. Letterbox, J Ledbetter, Twitter at Mr. J Ledbetter. Recommendation, I'll just do it, man. World Cup, absolutely
It's going to
hitting
be done
the
by
spot.
by the
I'm
time that
loving
this
it.
is out.
I'm loving it. I'm, I'm, I'm loving it. Well, I already recommended the Stanley Cup, and that's over now, so
Yeah,
that's going to be
exactly.
future state as well.
We know the
What
things
else
that
did I
Jay is
watch?
saying. Any other
I watched most of Air recently. That's a fun movie.
the Ben
That
Affleck
was with
movie?
the father-in-law. Yeah.
Oh, okay. He didn't like. Has he blonde
Um,
bought anything lately? Any bad movies lately?
well, the problem is, and now I bring my kiddo with me, and so we're watching, if you give a mouse a cookie or whatever.
No,
Um, honestly, there's worse kid shows than if you give a mouse a cookie. But
no.
um, World Cup, if it's over by now, congratulations, you had a great time, as did I. And wait, America won the
Oh
World Cup?
my God. What a prediction for the future. And Jay just says, yeah, Team USA won. And they
Interesting.
most likely lost brutally in like the
I'll tell you what
quarters.
remains a good show. Love on the Spectrum. Good show.
Yeah.
It's a sweet show.
Okay. All right.
Oh, my other real recommendation of the week is Widow's Bay.
No, oh, okay.
Oh, I want to watch that show. Yeah. That's got a lot of Hiro Murai, right?
Yeah, he directs most of those
Love him.
episodes.
Atlanta.
That was gonna be my recommendation.
Well, I teed you up. There you go.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Blue Sky at Ryan McQuade 77. You can find all my work here at awardswatch.com. iTunes, Spotify, 5-star reviews are greatly appreciated. While you're on the website, sign up for the newsletter. It's the best place to get all news, reviews, interviews, podcasts sent to you all in one place. Yeah, I mean, like Sophia hinted at, Widow's Bay finished the whole first season. By the time this is out, all of the finale will be out. A fantastic series, great humor, gets those like lost Lindelof qualities by the end of the episode, like the final episode that I love. Matthew Rhys is fantastic. Stephen Root's fantastic. Just an incredible ensemble. A great exercise in tone balance, because at moments you can be absolutely terrified, and the next moment you're laughing your ass off. That Apple TV Plus, they really know how to make like event TV. They're figuring it out,
They're
I think, better
good
than anybody
service.
else right now. And they have a good platform as well. I will also give, since like we kind of shared one, Sophia, I'll give a recommendation of the week, because it was one that I genuinely confused by why well, you know what? I'm not going to do that one because that's not as dumb. I haven't actually recommended this film yet, and that is Olivia Wilde's The Invite, which should be in more theaters by the time this thing is out. I
Interesting.
think
She finally made a good movie, huh?
she has made a good movie before, Jerk, in Booksmart,
This is
and
great.
Don't Worry, Darling
And that one
was a
was
movie,
tough.
we all know that. We can all agree on
Yeah.
that. This one's absolutely fantastic. Um, it felt a lot more personal, this one, for her. And I felt like she was making a lot of great choices. One being is this cast alongside her. I think she's very good in the film. This is truly one of Seth Rogen's better performances that he's given in a very long time. But this movie, Jay, you got to see it for Edward Norton, who's absolutely
I'm
fantastic.
absolutely going to see it. Remember American Pickle?
And well, clearly no, because HBO took it off their streaming service.
Did
Remember
they
that?
really?
Yeah, they just deleted it.
That's
Like
hilarious.
it doesn't exist. But Jay, you got to see it for Penelope Cruz, who is.
Boy, oh boy.
I'm gonna tell you this, Jay.
We got to get off right now. We got to log off.
She is an important person in this movie, and she delivers an incredible performance. One of the best performances of the year.
Extremely talented.
I don't think
actor.
you'll be able to comprehend how great she is in this movie, Jay. Like as much as
She's blonde.
she's blonde and she's gorgeous.
Strike one.
No, she looks good in this movie, Jay.
Yeah, I gave her supporting actress for, or maybe even lead actress. What was the Almodovar?
Oh, for Parallel Mothers.
Me too. She was my winner
A
that
couple
year.
years ago. Yeah, she's fantastic in that. It's like an hour 47. Doesn't overstay its welcome. Very funny. Very good film. Also co-written by Rashida Jones. But this is like Wilde's best film by a mile. Like it's not even close. And so hope to see this movie circulate towards the end of the year. A24 I think's got a really great one on their hands here, and that is The Invite from Olivia Wilde. I think
Mostly streamlined 3-hour episode. Great work, Paul.
That'll do it for this week's episode. We are technically almost done with the Christopher Nolan experiment series, however you want to call it. We will be back.
Meet our friends.
We will be back next week
Odysseus.
to on the main show. We're getting upgraded around here. We're going to be on the main show releasing on Monday because we will be talking about his new film, The Odyssey. And we will give our rankings then, and we will then also reveal who our next film series is going to be. It's going to be a busy episode, a lot to talk about. And Jay, you looking forward to it? The Odyssey? You in?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you all next week.